Welcome back to Pilots Lounge, RC Pilots Lounge number 142. What is up with you? Excuse me. I had a really good thing going there for a minute. If it wasn't for this guy. So a little something different tonight. Dave Marshall's going to co-host with me. I'm going to bring him on in a little bit. Nothing special. We're just going to shoot the breeze about some things we're working on lately and videos that went out this week, things like that. We're going to do a roll call, just kind of hang out a minute, and then we'll bring Dave on. So I have to respond if I'm able to off of my phone because he's running the stream via Georgia. How's everybody doing? I didn't hear you. Emoji it up. Let's see. How's everybody doing? I'm going to try to read the bigger one than the one on my phone, just it's easier. Usually I just respond verbally anyway, so I guess I don't need to worry about typing. Boss223, keeping YouTube in business. Man, appreciate you. Some guys are like they're gonna get rid of Netflix and just watch the videos at Pilot Ryan Media. What's up, everybody? Holy smokes! Let's go ahead and roll call before it hits 100, shall we? It's going fast. Webb Thomas, Eddie K, Jackson RC, Shadow Ops, Tug Hill, Ken Sprouse, Jeff and Lower Alabama, RC and stuff, Wayne's RC, Jeff's Custom, Pete Rain, what's happening? Jackson RC Aviation, Jeff and Lower Alabama. Some of these I'm going to repeat. I'm sure Barry Campbell, Shadow Ops, Lee Davidson, Jordan Dole in the house, Michael Nolan, Thomas Milano, Dylan Story. Holy smokes, I've lost it. I already lost it. Holy, it's all out of whack. Full Send RC Productions, Lionel Randall, Pops, Joe Habib, Shadow Ops, Raymond Molina in the house, Scott Settle, Dylan Story, yes, C Mafia, Michael Sherman, what's happening? Very cool. Very cool. Good to see everybody Saturday night. Tell me what you guys got to fly this week. Let me know maybe what you're looking forward to getting out. Oh. Hopefully you guys saw that last little video I put out, man, with me and Bobby flying the E-flite Warbirds. That was pretty... There was some interesting stuff there to watch. Everybody likes a good crash. Man, that was right there in front of us. Woo. Skip Built, EQ, Gary. Any questions for me, too? Let them rip. Make sure I see him with some emojis or something. Obviously, we got some videos already in the queue, just waiting for things to get dialed in to let them rip. But you can see this OMP. Let's see, did I point correctly? Nope. This way. The OMP Challenger there, the Buddy RC plane, 3S. I think it's a good time. I've got video of that as well coming very soon. And then the Rafale, I'm going to do it wrong. I knew it. The Rafale. I cannot wait to get that baby out. Webb Thomas, the BF-109. That's a great flying plane. It's a handful on the ground, no doubt, but it can be whipped. Speed, airspeed. It's a two-wheel landing kind of situation if you ask me on that one. Mikey likes it. Mike SSI. Free wing day for you. F-18 Avanti. Tiger Cat. Nice. Yeah, just a different spot in the building, Ethan RC. It's getting full back there. Dave Hawker, what's happening? Yeah, that thing goes together very easily, especially when Bobby K does it for you. Claudio, what is happening? Ethan RC. Solid Rocket Motors, V1200. If you like going fast and you like rockets, yes, the V1200 is worth it. I mean, with a name like Solid Rocket Motors, I mean, you probably can appreciate going fast. The V1200's a ripper. We actually did some videos of it back on the channel if you look back a little bit, but that thing is hard to film, but I think we did okay for as wicked as that is. But I know in the video I flew it on 4S and 6S, even a ripper on 4S. I think I know a guy that's going to do some stuff with a V1200 motor and like a small little Mustang. a smaller Mustang. We'll be talking to him in a little bit. Olson Aviation, you crashed your Super Cub. Oh no! Rolled too low. It'll happen. Hey, with no risk, there is no reward. Did you get it on film? That's what I want to know. Gas planes for you, Jackson. Awesome. It's not that. I mean, it'll happen for me one day. I'm getting there with electric balsas first. Is that's how I'm doing it. Kind of like my Segway. When eventually turbines happen more for me in the future, HSD is a perfect brand to segue to that with. I feel the same way with like bigger gas planes that, these plug and play balsas that are coming to around the mountain at BitGo are going to be a really good time to try on like a big electric balsa. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. The HSD 262 went out last week, as well as the HSD 182. I cannot wait to show you those videos. They ain't lying when they say bigger flies better. For real. Tug Hill, Philip Bender, Aaron Phillips, Frankie RC Planes, George Watts. Yeah, man. Loves his gassers. Francis Connie. Skip built. Nobody can do Big Red until April 23rd. So we can build our media and videos and stuff, but we cannot show them until April 23rd. They're just doing the release a little bit differently, and it's not a problem to respect it. That's how they want to do it. So can't wait, though. Cannot wait. Nathaniel Morgan says the big gas planes fly so nice, you just need to get behind the sticks of a big gasser, and it's over. You'll have one. Yeah, I think so. I can't wait. France is looking forward to the big 110 Timber in electric. Phone Boy, yeah, man. It's going to be awesome. Holy smokes, it's going fast. Yeah, Mickey BRC, guys. He did a good video on the 262. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to that as well. Mine's just a first flight, but it was dialed right away. But we'll really take it out and rip it some more. But it was a great first flight. Turn Bank. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm not a snob about it. I think eventually I'll definitely do some of those models. It'll happen. It'll happen. But yeah, steps. I really do like the HSD step and the, like plug and play balsas. Bigger planes made out of different stuff. Grizzly Adams has a beard. Yeah, that's cool. I got one too. Shadow Ops. Ha, Seamoff. John Graham, actually, I think the only thing I flew. So, I told you guys last week about our outing, right? Where we had that awesome crash that I just put the video out. And then the 182, 262, F-15 like crazy. But I haven't flown anything else this week except that new DJI FPV drone, which was awesome, by the way. Dollar Bill Clinton in the house? Oh, yeah, that could be a completely different thing, Skip Bill. If the date changed, it's probably just a stock level issue. Yeah, George, I agree. HSD is a great entry point into bigger EDFs and turbines. Oh, cool, Aaron. Aaron Phillips, do you do Facebook? I want to see your weathered FMS Rafale. Post it on RC Pilots Lounge Facebook group. So that's enough of me, man. Let's bring on Dave. You ready, dude?
Yes.
Yes. There he is. What's going on, Air Marshal?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm really good. Hey, what have you been working on this week?
So I've been tearing stuff up and building stuff back. So, for the folks that follow my Instagram at the RC Air Marshal, you guys have seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with my Red Cat Gen 8 crawler Man, I had that thing busted down to like nothing but the chassis rails,
Yeah.
and have rebuilt it with all kinds of hop up parts and upgrades. And this past Monday, I kind of put the finishing touches on the vehicle. I added a RC four-wheel drive worn winch to the
Oh,
front,
yes.
uh,
Yes.
and it's the big dog winch that has 50-pound deadlift capacity, so I can literally lift the truck off the ground with it.
That's really cool. And so that was how you really documented that whole upgrade process for you,
Right.
was not necessarily like a big YouTube tutorial, but like really your Instagram is lit up with your progress on that Gen 8.
Yeah, yeah. So every upgrade that I did, I documented through pictures on Instagram.
Awesome.
I do plan to, I still have to do like the review video for the truck. And my plan is to, to get that out and then do like a follow-up video, um, kind of introducing people to the fact that I have an Instagram, you know, and,
Yeah,
and
good idea.
like, go check out the Instagram and have the pictures like in a montage as part of that video, and really talk about all the different upgrades and stuff I did on the Gen 8. And the reason that I want to do that, right, is because all of the issues that I had with the model, right, which are addressed in the review's already filmed. I just need to edit it, and you know how long that takes, right? So,
Right.
um, and there's a lot of components to that, because there's the talking about it, the showing of the model, kind of close-ups and B-roll of the model, the things that I love and the things that I'm not so crazy about, and then some driving footage. I mean, it's a lot to put together. Um,
Yeah, but it's gonna be, it's gonna be great. And some of those videos, guys, really they are a labor of love. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
yeah,
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing it. You should drop your Instagram handle in the right here in the chat, dude. And then you should drop mine. I'm just kidding. Seriously though, I got one too. But Air Marshal's really been sharing that whole thing there really well.
yeah. And what's cool
They're
is it's been getting the attention of the manufacturers, right? So, I mean, um,
nice.
every post has been liked by Red Cat Racing. Every post has been liked, of course,
Yeah,
by
they're
BitGo. Club Five Racing has loved what I've done with it.
great.
Um, I mean, because half the parts, more than half the parts that I threw in the truck are from Club Five Racing, so they absolutely loved
Yeah.
it. Um,
Oh, I bet, man. You turned me on to them.
yeah, yeah, and the last one, where I added the winch, RC four-wheel drive, gave it a big thumbs up. So, um,
Sweet.
and
Those surface companies seem to be pretty good about that. If I've ever, done anything and tagged them, they're always on it.
yeah, yeah,
That's great.
and it's not like I'm running like a monster Instagram channel. I think I've got almost 400 followers on Instagram. It's
Do you remember who your first follower on Instagram was?
I believe it was some weirdo at the real Pilot Ryan or something like that.
It was. I was the first one.
Yeah,
I was the first
you
one.
you were indeed the first follower on my Instagram. Where thankfully the growth of my YouTube channel has been a little faster than Instagram. But to be honest, I don't really post a lot on Instagram. Most of it is, hey, I just released a new video, go check it out. But I
Yep.
decided
Yeah.
to use that medium to really document what I was doing with the Gen 8, because I think it was a more appropriate thing to do rather than make a little video for every upgrade, because
I love it. I love it. And I think you should, for me, I feel like Instagram and Facebook is a little bit like a place where you can share more of the kind of daily stuff in a way, like the behind the scenes. Because when we do a video, usually it's I hate to say official because then that makes it sound like they should be good. but just more of an official release, like an official thing, like a product, like a video, like it's just there's more involved, but you want to share with everybody, but some of it just doesn't seem like it goes with the flow of your, kind of your big push.
Right.
I think it's a great place though for people to. Not everybody has the time for videos, and just being able to thumb through and scroll on Insta is pretty nice. I mean, for as quick as it is to consume the content on Instagram, if you have anybody liking or commenting on your stuff at all, you're doing really good. And I actually usually use my Instagram to let people know there's a video up, or there's a promotion, or there's whatever, a sale. I guess same thing. But I don't use it as much as I should. When I first started it, I was posting every day. I've been hanging out around. I did really good really fast, and then I kind of chilled out. And part of that was because I was going through this huge RC career transition, and I didn't quite know how to act.
Right. Like
I didn't want to.
I don't really know what to
step
do
on
with
any
my hands right
toes.
now.
You don't know what to do with
I
them?
don't know what to do with my hands.
You need pockets, bro.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't tell you that. Plastic Knot just ordered his first gas plane. And guys, it's going to be a little different because I got Dave to talk to. So I won't be riffing off the comments like normal. But please let me know if there's something addressed to me with some emojis or something, because I'd love to see what it is you want to ask, and keep the conversation rolling that way. Yeah, man. Instagram, follow Dave, follow me.
Yeah, and for the folks that are here, I mean, we're sitting at like 100 guys in the chat. For the folks that are here hanging out, man, cool. Thanks for stopping by. And I mean, this is very, very unplanned. I think I got the message that Ryan wanted to have somebody to, to banter off of it at 7. Wait, no, it was 8:48. It was 8:48, and somehow we were able to still go live like
And
9
I
o'clock.
didn't hear from him right away, and I set up everything, and then he got with me, and he's like, "Man, I got you dialed in. I do this for you all the time." I was like, "Let's go.
Yep, let's just push the button.
Let's do it, man." It's been a rainy day. We're getting busy again at work, and had a big Saturday job. Crushed it. 3 trucks. It's that job is for real, man.
Nice.
You manhandle those jobs. Seriously, though. Thank you, Shadow Ops. Co-pilot Air Marshal.
That's funny.
So what's the last? Let's just blow each other up. So what was the last video you put out on YouTube, man? Let's just talk about it.
Oh man, it's been a while. Sadly.
You've been Instagramming that red cat. That's why.
Yeah. So the last video I put out, I think, was how to do the updates on your Gen 1 smart charger.
Nice.
Using like the little USB to serial adapter. And every time I do videos like that, they always get really good feedback because I mean, those things are not easy. People screw them up all the
Yes.
time, and then they know that they can use me as an outlet for questions happening in the future. So every time I do a video like that, it always I won't say that they blow up because I don't get 10,000 views in a day, but anytime I can get 1,000 inside of a week, I mean, that's a big video for a little channel like mine.
That's a good video, I think, for almost. I mean, that's doing pretty good. Every now and then, it's nice to see one take off.
Right.
And those how-tos provide such a service, man. It's like having your own guy that knows it all at the hobby shop, who not only knows it all but likes you also,
Yeah, yeah.
and isn't annoyed.
So Dennis Farley, you know,
Yeah, tell him that story.
so I am sitting minding my own business, and Dennis Farley's trying to call me, and I'm trying to answer the phone, and he can't hear nothing. I try to call him back, it won't dial out. Ryan tries calling me, I try calling him back, it won't dial out. My phone's all jacked up. So I jump on Facebook and send Ryan a message on Facebook to tell him, like, hey man, my phone's all jacked up. So I finally get the phone working. I call Ryan, and Ryan like double crosses me and calls, and like does a three-way call with Dennis, and I'm like stuck in tech support mode. But
Dennis had called me and I didn't know. I told him what I did know, but it wasn't helpful. And the funny part about that three-way call is I don't know how long you guys were on it, but I fell asleep. I fell asleep and woke up at the end feeling like, damn it, I could have learned something, but I fell asleep. I didn't
no,
mean
no,
to.
it's fun. It's fun. So we got Dennis sorted out. He was having an issue where he couldn't get his plane out of safe mode, and it was acting all funky, and he was trying to rebind it and do all kinds of weird stuff in it. I mean, we got him sorted out. Um, because Dennis has had a 6 channel radio for so long, he's never had the ability to set up Safe Select without combining it with flaps or something like that. So,
Oh, yeah.
Dennis just got an 8 channel radio.
What'd you guys end up doing to fix them up?
We just had to assign the switch that he wanted to use for Safe Select. We had to assign it to
Okay.
like the aux2 channel.
Did you have to rebind it to do it that way, or is there forward programming on those DX8s?
Well, we didn't need to do forward programming. So once we got
Okay.
the channel assigned, so once in any of these planes that have Safe Select, once you bind it in Safe Select mode, it's going to automatically go to safe mode until you assign a switch, a Safe Select switch. So,
Yeah.
anytime you power up the plane, the control surfaces are going to be trying to correct and keep it level all the time. So it kind of fail safes to safe mode.
Now that's not. Now let me ask you this: is that on the off the shelf receivers or just the ones that come in the bind and fly?
That's the bind and fly. The on the shelf,
Right.
the ones that you get in the box, they're not programmed at all.
That's
So
right. You have to do it all.
right.
And so I've actually had the same thing happen, and I called you also.
Why do you think I'm so good
and
at fixing it? I get that phone call a lot.
but with the bind and flies, I have just been binding them up regular.
Yep.
And because of the NX 10 or 6, I had that one too for a minute. I didn't have to bind it for safe. I just bound it regular, and then forward programming let me do it, which is actually super nice.
Right. And that's something new with the new AR637T and AR631 is,
Oh, it's great.
if you don't bind it in Safe Select mode, you can still go in there and turn Safe Select on and just program it to a switch.
Yeah, flight mode style, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, with the old AR636, there was a very specific sequence that you had to bind the radio in. You had to like insert the bind plug, plug in the battery, unplug the bind plug, and then bind your radio or something to that effect. And the AR637, and 631 are not that much different, but if you miss it, you can just go into forward programming and set it up manually.
That's exactly what happened to me because I missed it. I kind of refused to do any of that until the NX stuff. I love my bind and fly stuff, but I never wanted to deal with. I would see Captain Mike. He would tell me how long he spent getting it right, and I'm like, geez, Louise, who's got that kind of time? And so it kind of put me off of it, and I was just intimidated by it, honestly, until good old Air Marshal, helped me out. And you can be helped out too. check out Dave Air Marshal on YouTube. He's got loads of tutorial videos on how to set up Spektrum technology in your airplane today.
That's right. But wait, there's more.
There's more. Yeah, I'm actually super pumped and proud of myself for being able to do it without you now.
No, that is awesome. I mean, and practice makes perfect with anything.
Yeah.
But as I tell people, proper practice makes perfect. I mean, if you're practicing something and you're doing it the wrong way, you're practicing how to be screwed up.
Yes.
And you're really going to be awesome at being wrong.
You know what? Some of these videos coming lately, and the ones I've been doing, I've been trying to. It wasn't something I always did, where even the binding flies that I even worried about safe. I don't know why I missed that for so long, because I think it's something people want to see what you think about how it behaves. And because I didn't need it, I was just happy to have AS3X, I never really, it just missed me forever. And then I started doing it. And then now I'm binding up these 637Ts in other stuff now.
Right.
Aero stuff, FMS stuff, HSD stuff, whatever, free wing. And it's kind of nice having that to play with, and you get these defaults right out the gate, really. And I have learned that sometimes those are fine and sometimes they're way too much. And y'all have been seeing me learn that, because the F-15 from Arrows, my first video, it was super windy, but the gains were way too high, and you can tell. And I wasn't even sure yet, but I ended up getting them back down, and I think I'm 20 across the board on the gains, and it's dialed.
Yeah, and I think we had talked about that. In fact, it was one of the first like in-person chats that we had, and I mean, it wasn't in person, but I think I had sent you a message on Facebook or something, and you were like, just call me, my number's blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right. So I gave you a call, and we had talked about, that phone call, we talked about the AR636 series that I was thinking about putting out.
Yes.
Yeah. Because everybody really likes AS3X until they had to program it.
Right.
Everybody loves how it behaves on their bind and fly planes, but I didn't really see a lot of people using a 636 in like an FMS plane or a free wing plane or an Arrows, whatever the case may be. I don't even.
I would see my Captain Mike and Bobby were doing it, but they were taking sometimes receivers out of other stuff, and I was always like, how's that even work? They didn't do nothing. It just happened to work.
Right.
And like right directions. I know for a fact Bobby's flying one of the old Blondie receivers in his MiG-21.
Right.
And I don't think he had to change a thing. Now, don't quote me, anyone, on that.
And sometimes it works out that way. But I mean, that was my whole goal, was to be able to kind of give people empower folks that want to use, that AS3X technology. Because, I mean, it really is one of the smoothest gyros out there. I mean, yes, there's other ones that are high dollar, but I'd put AS3X, up against the Aura 8s any day of the week.
Dude, space is a premium in these planes, and having just one thing do it is nice. I use some of the other auxiliary, stabilizers too. I call it auxiliary if it's like a receiver and this,
Right.
But it's really nice just having one thing to do it. So I was super behind you tackling that. I thought that was a great idea. And I even referenced, like, when I was at MRC for 5 years, one video performed so good on the channel, no matter what, on our channel. Because we left this channel here, we left it sit for 5 years. And during that time, one video was always still getting comments and engagement and things like that. And it was a stinking Dr. Expo video, man. It was a how-to tutorial. Not glamorous at all, but Captain Mike sitting there in a scrubs playing Dr. Expo. And it was such a good video, I actually changed the name of it because originally it was titled specifically DX6i or something, Expo. And then I'm like, man, it's hardly relevant anymore, but it's like this thing's still getting views. And I think I just changed it to like Spectrum DX series or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, what a service that is. That series, you were debating on whether to release one at a time or to just like hit them
Right.
hard with a volume of stuff, like Encyclopedia Britannica up in this place. And I was rooting for
the bomb drop.
for the full send.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Full flap regalia. EQ, what got me off of those was a lot of hardship. After many years of having successful flying, there was a season that didn't go so well, and that was one of the common denominators. And I don't work for them, so I'm not gonna. I'm still selling planes, so I just don't like it. You're gonna like who supports you. Man, it's really easy to enjoy the Spectrum technology when you have it, man. I ain't gonna lie, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm loving it and everything, and I'm getting spoiled on this telemetry. I'm digging stabilization. Now I can do it myself. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I had trouble with those.
And there's I see some stuff in the chat right now where there is some people talking about like the difference between a 3-axis and a 6-axis stabilizer. And I want to address that real quick because I think there may be some misunderstandings, right? So there are some 3-axis stabilizers out there, and the only so if you think about a 3-axis stabilizer, it is the gyro. What we think that stabilizes the aircraft. It goes one way, and it corrects for wind and all kinds of other stuff, right? When you start getting into a 6-axis gyro, you not only have your pitch, yaw, roll, in the XYZ axis, but you also have accelerometers in the X, Y, and Z axis, So the accelerometers tell it how fast the plane is going or how fast it's moving through space and what direction it's moving. So in a 6-axis gyro, we can do things like heading hold, where even if I'm in a funky attitude, it will keep going in the heading that I'm already in. And that's where that 6th axis comes into play, or the other 3, because that's where, it's not just the gyro that's reading your pitch, roll, and yaw. It's also directional. So it is it's basically dead reckoning. Navy guy probably knows what that is, but it knows how fast you're going and what direction you're moving in, and it's going to be able to maintain that.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was a Hobby Eagle when I was working those, and it wasn't the A3L. It was.
So I think the A3L is a 3-axis. And
it was the 6-axis version of that, though, so right? Like A3.
The A3 Pro is
maybe.
The A3 Pro is a 6-axis, and the A3 Super 3 is a 6-axis. So the orange label and black label.
You could like auto hover. It would do crazy stuff if you flipped a switch and that son of a gun would basically auto hover. You could just like hold knife edges.
Yeah.
But I never liked it.
Right.
I never liked the feel of it because I'm so used to, and I really like a plane to return to neutral when you relax.
Right.
So those heading holds are kind of weird to me,
They can definitely make the plane behave weird. Yeah.
I mean, it remembers its last. You go put your plane in an attitude and under regular situations and relax. Um, Things go back to neutral. If it's a high wing plane, so will the plane.
Right.
But if you are in one of those modes and you put it here, it stays there till you take it out. And it's all you. There's no neutral. You got to make it all happen for
Hey, look
yourself.
who's joined us. It's old Jason Merkel. How you doing, Jason?
What's up, JM? Never use the term six axis. The term six axis came from Chinese marketing. It's their way to describe three axis gyros and accelerometers. Basically, AS3X and SAFE equals six axis to the Chinese.
Right. And Jason just kind of reiterates what I
Today.
was saying. You've got your three-axis gyro stabilizer, your gyroscope, which controls the three, and then you have accelerometers, which can see, that's basically the object in motion stays in motion type of thing, directional, you know, in any of three axes. So one is on a fixed pivot, and like a gimbal would be like a three-axis type of deal, and the other one, senses the rate of motion. So accelerometers and gyros working together to do magical things.
Coming together, having a Coke, singing a song. Let's do
Right.
it. I like it. Jason's working on some big red action and other stuff. Hoo hoo hoo. Ha ha ha.
Hey, so I love paying attention. Uh-oh, it looks like we might. It looks like we got it back, right? But we might have glitched there for a second. No biggie, no biggie. Um, so I love when Jason drops into stuff in Facebook. Um, he'll drop into conversations in Facebook, and I don't think that a lot of people realize who he is. Because he'll make very direct statements and drop like monster Easter eggs, and people are like, no, no, that's discontinued. And he's like, sure it is. So he dropped some pretty monster Easter eggs today about, and he dropped some pretty monster Easter eggs about maybe the return of the mini apprentice, much smarter than it used to be,
Wow, that's a good
which
idea.
I think is fabulous. So,
I thought that was that plane got, other than a micro, that was always my first recommendation, dude. Because 250 would get a guy into it. It's probably going to change a little if it's going all smart, but I mean, man, that 48-inch wingspan. It's 1.2 mini apprentice
right.
RTF. I mean, ready to go, dude.
And
That thing was a bargain, and it's super light. It's hard to mess it up.
yeah, and this is one of those planes. This is the regular apprentice, but I don't care who you are. I still love flying my apprentice. Anytime I take it out, because anytime I'm training somebody, it suits me better. It makes more sense. Our club has like six, apprentices that are club planes, but it's easier. I've already got wireless. I've got like two radios bound up to the thing. I've already got wireless buddy box going.
Nice.
It makes sense for me to just bring my own plane because, if it crashes, it's my fault because we're on buddy box anyway. So I'm not going to let you crash my plane.
Right. Hey, Jason says 259 RTF with DXS telemetry, smart battery, and charger. Is there a option for the like real flight trainer edition as well? Not a bad idea.
So, is that another Easter egg for this maybe plane that we may be
That's
talking
like an
about?
Easter egg is now an omelet. I ate it and it's delicious.
Yeah, yeah. So, I love my apprentice, and if I crashed it, uh, I would replace it. I'd get another one because I love them.
Nice.
They're just one of those planes that you take out on a day when you just want to have some sit back in a chair and maybe drink a frosty
You can hand
Coca-Cola.
it to anybody. You can hand that thing to anybody. It's a good one to have
Yeah.
around. I've flown them. I've never had one. I got to do a video on the Mini Apprentice. Um, but man, it's a great tool, and the progressive modes are all there. So you got beginner, intermediate, and expert, I believe is what it's called, right?
Um,
In the beginner mode is like safe, where it's got the actually so is the
yeah, it's
intermediate, isn't it?
beginner, intermediate, and experienced mode.
Experience mode, you can do tricks and roll it over. And then on beginner and intermediate, you have different degrees of bank limiting in your roll. But you still are not going to roll it over.
Right, right. So yeah, it's got bank angle limits,
Nice.
but it'll let you crash it. You know.
That's right. Airspeed will always let you crash.
Now, what's interesting, and this was something that I thought was amazing on the Habu, um, the Habu has it uses the altimeter in the plane where even when you have it in like an intermediate mode, so it's got a beginner, intermediate, and experienced mode, but with the more advanced flight controller that they have in the Habu, it doesn't really come out of beginner mode until you get above a certain altitude.
Right.
And if you drop below that altitude, if you're in their intermediate mode where it kind of, it gives you like a 90-degree bank angle limit, um, and lets you do a little more crazy stuff. It doesn't do self-leveling anymore. But if you drop below that altitude, and I want to say it's like 100 feet or something like that. If you drop below 100 feet, boom, it goes back into, its original beginner mode, self-levels the plane, and now you're back in like a safe mode because it knows, it's got an altimeter in it. So it knows how far it is up off the ground, and it won't let you go into like any kind of crazy attitude with the airplane until you're two mistakes high. I mean,
That's
100
right.
feet for a
It's
lot
like
of us is like
automatically.
27 mistakes high.
Yeah, that's an extra dimension, because think about how awesome it is, just like the regular bind and fly models where you have uh, AS3X and then you have safe if you want it.
Right.
With the beginner planes, you've got even more stuff to keep you in the air.
Yeah.
Um, full safe, which is what our trainers have. Oh shoot, scroll down for me, dude.
Yeah, I got you.
There you go. Jason coming at us with this full safe, which is what our trainers have, equals beginner, pitch, bank, angle limits, and self leveling. Intermediate, higher angles of pitch, bank, and angle limits, but no self leveling. Yeah. Experienced, AS3X only. So cool all the way around. And you can do tricks in experience mode.
Yep.
Thanks, Dave.
So here, Jason saying yeah, all the trainers with a flight controller. So the Carbon Cub S2, the Apprentice STS, and the Habu STS have a barometer which automatically switch from intermediate to beginner mode around 50 feet. So,
Ah, that's what it is. That's right.
so if you're going to land in intermediate mode, it's still going to go like as soon as you drop below that 50 feet mark, it's going to go back to self-leveling. So, I mean, I thought that was a fantastic feature. At first, I thought the Habu was broke when I was flying it. So I
Ha.
got it up in the air, and I put it, I mean, you got to test everything. It's kind of what we do, right? So I get it up in the air. I'm testing it in beginner mode, and seeing how much I can get away with. How much rudder do I have to throw into it to get it to kind of cheat that turn radius a little bit, because you can
Yeah.
cheat the turn radius a bit. A lot of people complain about how wide you have to turn the plane in safe mode, but if you jam if you're turning to the right and jam hard right rudder, it'll scoot the back end around.
It definitely tightens it up. And I definitely notice some planes are set up to be really shallow. And then it feels like the more advanced planes increase that roll angle and let you come around a little quicker. But yeah, rudder or turn it off. You know, for me, the video thing, it does. I say it all the time. I feel like I want to turn sooner, but that's just because of the way I'm flying.
Right.
Um,
And
I like having it there. I like having it there. If you fly through the sun or you sneeze, you got a bug in your eye, it's pretty fun. And if it's stupid windy, I don't care what I got. I will fly it. You know what I mean? If it's got that stuff in it, I don't care. I just am glad I have it there. I still don't always use it unless I think oh wow, this isn't going to work. I mean, if it's bad enough where it's like, this ain't happening, I'm having trouble, I'm going to run out of time, I ain't ashamed. I'm flipping that switch. Let's go.
right. Yeah. Now, Jason had mentioned, and I want to kind of clarify for people that all of the beginner planes that come with a flight controller have, this the intermediate mode doesn't really kick in until you get above 50% or 50 feet of altitude, right? So anything below 50 feet, it's going to kind of kick it into beginner mode, and when you get above 50 feet, so it's kind of intelligent that way.
Yeah.
And what he means by a flight controller is, in the planes that come with like an AR631 or an AR637T, AR637TA, that is a receiver with a gyro built in. So all of the stuff is in one little package. When he's talking about these flight controllers, the flight controller is, what you have a receiver, a separate receiver module, and they're usually like taped to the side of the fuselage. It's looks like a little bitty chip, a little bitty circuit board with some antennas coming out of it. And you got a single, or actually three wires, that are usually bound together that go out to a separate box. I can't remember what the number is on the Spectrum flight controller, but it's a separate box that looks a lot like a receiver, but it's not. So yeah, you've got a separate flight controller with an outboard receiver.
Does it look like a satellite kind of?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Mitchell? Jason stepping out a minute. Philip Bender. Roy, I saw you saying hi, man. What's up, dude? One thing I do want to do. So here's my question.
What's that?
If I'm using flight modes on the way I'm setting up these planes to do reviews on, where I have, no matter whose plane it is, if I'm using this technology, I want to show it off. So I think you guys like figuring out what settings we land on,
Sure.
End up tweaking them down to, because guys like using this technology. Can't blame them. So I'm going to set it up for safe by default. I have played with angle limits a little bit, but usually, flight modes, this is what I'm getting at. So one flight mode is safe. Of course, AS3X is happening as well. And then another flight mode is just AS3X. And then I do one that's clean, nothing.
Right.
But during this whole thing, I still am flying on my rates.
Sure.
What I'm asking is, so you guys hear me talk about flap to elevator mix. I just usually do it the old-fashioned way. Can I still, even though I'm doing flight modes with the stuff I mentioned, can I still do flight modes where when I have the flaps down, I can just trim in the elevator I want?
Yes.
Even though I already have 3 modes taken up?
Yes. So you can set it up where
Sweet.
your flight modes, where you set it up in your trim settings, I believe, where your trims are either global,
Okay.
meaning that the trims are the same on every flight mode, or you can set your trims to be flight mode specific, right? So,
And then tie it to like the flap switch.
well, you would tie your flaps to the flight mode switch.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I know Andrew Williams does that. I think he was dialing in his F-14 and he was doing that. But I have actually, I think I've had 2 P-38s that did this the same way. So I'll trim it for level flight. It's awesome. This is the thing I totally want to do flight mode, flap mix, trim stuff on, right? Maybe not even flap mix, but just trim. Kind of the same deal. So when I put the flap, I mean, it's level. I got it trimmed out. It's cruising. It's awesome. It's clean. But man, no matter what I do, the flaps are incongruent and I get a roll when the flaps are down.
Right.
So I want to trim for the flaps, because if I'm shooting landings and I trim for dirty,
Yep.
well, next time I ramp it up and clean it up and speed it up, I'm out of whack.
Right.
So I want to trim for one of those.
So
It doesn't matter which one.
so here's the deal, right? When you set your trims to be
Noontz, he's got a video on flight modes. Noontz Airborne
Right
RC,
on.
ladies and gentlemen, check it out.
So when you set up your trims to be flight mode independent, meaning that each flight mode has its own trim settings, and you tie your flaps, for example, to a flight mode, um, you need to check every flap setting, because you're going to have to retrim the whole plane, not just the elevator. So doing it that way, you don't really need a flap to elevator mix.
That's right.
Because you're trimming the plane, for that particular flap setting. And, what I kind of like about that is that makes it, where you're almost flying it like a full scale airplane. In a full scale airplane, we're constantly messing with elevator trim. Not so much aileron trim. I mean, once you get that down, it's pretty much
Right.
done. But your elevator trim, if
That's
you're
right.
not constantly toying with elevator trim, you're not flying the plane right. You're fighting the sticks way too much. So, you trim the plane for a certain speed, for a certain airspeed. Um, and that'd be kind of what you're doing when you set your trims up to to a flight mode. You're going to trim the attitude of the plane for a specific speed.
And you're going to be able to get it right away.
Yeah.
In real time. So RC and stuff, to answer your question, we are not talking about mixing, although what we're talking about does the same thing, but in real time. When I do a mix on a plane, I'm not doing it while I'm in the air. Like if I default to, the other day I took one out, the HSD 182. I kind of have a high wing default where I'll go 22% down elevator at full flaps, 11% at mid. Usually it works. I'm always at least close. Well, I ended up increasing it to like 25 and 15. But I had to do that after I flew it already and landed it and then do it on the radio. If you do the flight mode situation, you can do it in the air in real time, and you get to forego the mix and not do that at all, as long as you've set up flight modes. Noontz Airborne RC, thank you for the super chat. And guys that want to dig into what we're talking about, check him out on YouTube right there. Noontz Airborne RC. He's slick on Spectrum too, and he's done some videos on how to do this flight mode stuff.
Yeah, so the funny part of that is Noons comes in here, presents awesome value in the chat, and gives you $20. How much better can it get?
I don't know how I can ever have a bad day. I still figure it out though. It is RC and stuff, yes. So it is trimming that we're talking about, but in my example, where when I drop the flaps, the plane has a severe roll, I want to trim that out for when I'm in flaps. In flight modes, I can trim it out for when I'm in flaps, and then when I flip out of flaps, I'm back to the original trim. Because if I just trim out my flaps to bring me right, the minute I tuck my flaps away and speed up, though, I'm wrong again. So the idea of flight modes is to assign, let's say in this case, the flap switch to a flight mode switch together. Dave says it better than I do, where I can trim for that flight condition. So flight condition flaps, I list to the right, left, whatever. I can trim out for that, and then when I take the flaps off and I'm flying clean, I don't have to undo what I just did. That's the beauty of these flight modes. And it's one of those things where I want to know what he said. What did he say? Maybe I don't. Who cares? Anyway, that's what's up. And I know guys that fly models that have some complex systems
Yep.
enjoy that. Um, Again, I think it was Andrew Williams who was doing that on his F. I mean, not the only person, but probably maybe the first guy I remember doing it um, and sharing it. And I think it was on his F-14. I know Steve Hodges used to do flight modes a bunch too. Probably still does.
Yeah.
RC Jet dude. And that was actually the first time I heard about him. And I was always wanting to do it to my P-38. I actually need to take that P-38 out because it's got awesome Robarts on it. It's got suspension, and I need to do a flight mode video. And in the video, I'm gonna call Dave on Skype, so he can tell us how to do it. Or Noons. Very cool, man. Next question.
Yes.
Turbine Matt, so wouldn't you mechanically adjust your flaps to eliminate roll when they are down? Yes, the best you can. But I mean, goodness, these are foamies. Not everything is straight. You do the best you can. You don't always get perfect neutral. You know what? Sometimes with flap servos, I've had this happen so many times where, okay, at neutral, I can get them perfect, but they do not throw the same. You know what I'm saying? So if you adjust that mechanically for here, okay, cool. But now when you're up here, you're out. So you got to pick your poison. So I think this flight modes is a great way to solve that problem, unless you just don't mind trimming in a bunch all the time, in and out of flight conditions. I mean, the technology is there to make these things enjoyable and smooth them out. And it is a foamy model, and sometimes pieces are curly or they didn't get glued on the same or whatnot on one side versus the other. So these things can help dial it in.
Yep.
To each his own. Everybody wants to cowboy it. I mean, this is cool stuff to have available. I mean, it's not the finer points are missed on some.
Yep.
It's all right. You don't have to do it.
And
Whoever's over it doesn't have to do
and
it.
it's I don't want to discredit anything that anybody ever says in the chat, but the the ideal situation for a full-scale pilot is to reduce their workload as much as possible so they can continue to navigate and communicate.
That's right.
Because the three key elements of full-scale flight is aviate, navigate, communicate, right? In that order. Um, so you want to reduce your aviation workload as much as possible so you can continue to navigate and communicate and be able to pay attention to what the plane is doing. You shouldn't be having to wrangle the plane all the time. So,
Make it, yeah, it's radio control. That means you can make it do what you want. And once, when I was learning, I didn't notice if something was, I was just lucky to bring the thing home. I wasn't messing with flaps, but you start to notice things and you can tweak it out and it's pretty cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like you say, in full scale, you're gonna roll in trim to keep you from holding some stupid pressure on the yoke.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to be sitting there holding back pressure. I should be able to let the yoke go so I can, not have to worry about that aspect. And we're not
That's
talking
right.
about autopilot. I'm talking about trimming the plane, like, okay, we're going to trim the plane for 90 knots of airspeed, 110 knots of airspeed, whatever we're going to cruise at today. So we get up to our 100 knots, we trim the plane out. I should be able to let go of the yoke and, start messing around with my navigation, making sure that all my waypoints are good, making sure that I'm communicating with air traffic control, all the other stuff that I would do. When I'm flying RC, I want the experience to be about the same. So I want that trim on that plane. When I take my hands off, that plane is straight and level flying by itself. I shouldn't have to wrangle nothing, you know. And I would argue that that's learning how to fly. Being able to
Yeah.
do that is learning how to fly and really control your airplane. Um,
Well, and read it.
right.
I mean, and if you don't always fly on the perfect day, which I know some guys that don't, if I want to have an honest read of what I'm seeing, so I know what I got to react to. If it's already got a list to the left or right or something goofy, obviously, if it's just flying and it doesn't make a difference between flaps or just clean flying, then you're doing great. A lot of times it's fine. There's not a difference. But sometimes you get a plane that's a little bit goofy and there's no fixing it. I mean, I have put shims under servos to try to not have to do this before. I got to plug in my camera, dude. Hold on a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, dang. So anyway, I feel like it's getting combative about this. Am I wrong?
No. So right.
Flight modes, man, or do it or don't.
So right. So the answer to that is whatever speed I'm flying at. You know, I will change the trim based on the speed that I'm flying at that moment in time. It's not necessarily set at 50% throttle. Like I'm constantly adjusting the trim a little bit. The 8020T does not have AS3X.
So Jordan had a question earlier, and it was a bit of what I was kind of saying. So, if how many different flight mode conditions can you set up for like a one
In
plane?
an NX,
So are you taking up like three already on like say AS3X and then nothing, and then you're going to take up like one, maybe two more
um,
on the stuff I'm talking
so
about?
not necessarily. You don't have to set up like with a 636 or an AR 637, 631, 8360. None of those. You don't have to assign your receiver flight modes to the flight mode of the transmitter, right? That's where things get a little confusing. They're not the same, right? So you can change
Okay.
the receiver flight modes with a three position switch. You could theoretically change them with a knob, or a slider, and just whatever position it wants to see, that's how it's going to know what flight mode to go in, kind of like the way that the lights work on a big red plane that we can't talk about until April 23rd. Um,
Right.
it's the same type of situation. So, on the DX series radios, or what I should say more specifically, is the radios that have a Gen 2 um, receiver module. Is that it? Gen 2 transmitter module? I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know exactly what it's called. So basically, like your Gen 2 radios. So like your DX9s. What do they call that thing? I forget what it's called. Where's Jason when you need him? Um,
Haha.
so anyway, there's basically a module inside your transmitter. Um, and if you're running a Gen 2 module, in an acro model, you can have 5 flight modes. If you're running a Gen 3 module, right, you can have up to 10 flight modes configured, right? So
Wow.
on a DX, basically any of the DX series radios that were Gen 2 and the Gen 3 um, DX6, because the DX6 Gen 3 was it's a channel processor. It's a channel processor.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Right, yes. Um, So the Gen 2 channel processors were used up until
Yes,
the
Barry.
iX20. So the iX12 was still using a Gen 2 channel processor. So an Acro model in an iX12 can only have 5 flight modes, but an iX20 could have 10 flight modes in an Acro model. And all
Wow.
of your NX series radios can have up to 10 flight modes. It takes 3 switches, and some coordination, to know which flight mode you're in.
Right, that's a lot going
It,
on.
it
Hey,
is.
Eddie K, as far as my ratchet on throttle, I never mess with it. So it's whatever it comes like. I have never messed with the tension on sticks so yet. I'm happy with what I get. You know, I'm happy with what I
Yeah,
get.
and my take on that, I can't stand ratcheting.
Oh my gosh.
I can't stand a ratcheting throttle. It upsets me.
I don't even know what to call it's whatever it comes with is what I got. I don't even know.
Right.
So I want to answer this one and then put this to bed a little bit. So Massis Boxing Belts is asking what's the point of flight mode? I usually have 3 rates, high, mid, and low rates, and I've lost the rest of the question. Uh, Usually have 3 rates, high, mid, and low. AS3X on, AS3X off, and maybe safe. Yeah, so completely different than that. I was talking about I have one plane where it doesn't matter what you do with the flaps, they're wrong. So either you have it set up so when the flaps are down, you've got to roll, or when they're up, you got to roll. You got to pick your neutral. And so in that case, it's a perfect case to, I guess, mix a mode in with your flaps so you can trim your aileron in that condition. And if it was an elevator flap down mix, you could do that too. You wouldn't have to set it up predetermined ahead of time and hope you were right. You could do it in the air if you set it up. So you can, it's not the weight of the wings are wrong, it's control surfaces, and there's nothing you can do about it. So when there's nothing you can do about it, you can get into the radio because, of course, going neutral is the best advice always. But when you can't, you've got a twist in the wing or you've got this discrepancy in the throw. Flight modes is one way to solve that problem. So completely different flight mode discussion than like you mentioned. I do the same thing. I'll have one flight mode safe, one AS3X, and one off. Or sometimes another safe at different gain values to test it out.
Right.
So I think that answers that.
Yeah, and the other thing with flight modes is, there's a lot more than you can do with flight modes, and typically the guys that I see using them the most are folks like that do big gliders. Big gliders that
Ah,
have multiple servos that can set up crow or flaps, or they can set them up as, full span ailerons. Like that's all part of the different flight modes to change the characteristics of how the servos behave, depending on what flight mode you're in. People that fly like the big F-14s, they'll take out the
yeah.
blue box and set up everything on like a big receiver that has a bunch of flight modes in it. So when the wings are swept, the servos behave completely different and have completely different, trim
Yeah.
settings, completely
Yeah.
different travels. Now they'll behave like, like elevons in the back. And
Imagine how perfect if you've got a plane like that where it's got a sweep, it's got maybe full span ailerons, it's got maybe tailerons, it's got mixes too with flaps. You have to you can't neutral it out good enough to not need some of that. So you could have it right in maybe one flight condition, but in the others you're heavy-handed this way, or just these things aren't perfect. So the idea to be able to have all those different things going on with an F-14 and trim it for level flight in each one of those conditions,
right.
That is bad to the bone. And in real time, in the air, if you set it up right,
Yeah.
you can do it in the air. You're not guessing on a value, taking it up and proving your theory either right or wrong, and then have to adjust. And the fine tune minutes on these things. Like, I need to learn how to do it. I mean, I want to do it. I think it's, if I had an F-14, I would totally be setting it up for every flight condition so I could trim, pitch, and roll. You get the yaw right once, I feel pretty good about that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. And what I
Flaps,
tell
pitch,
you
and roll.
is flight modes, at least in my opinion, is one of the most complex things to learn on any transmitter, not just Spectrum. Whether you're using Spectrum, Futaba, Jetty, the OpenTX stuff, FR Sky, I don't care what you're using. Flight modes is one of the most difficult concepts for people to wrap their heads around. But once you do it, I mean, it almost makes what that transmitter can do unlimited. I mean, you can do anything you want once you wrap your hand around that concept.
It's kind of like having a smartphone and you just realized after using the calculator for months that you can actually get on the internet with it.
Yes, that you can just ask Siri to,
Maybe not quite so dramatic, but dude, if Flight Modes was a company, they'd be on fire right now.
right?
Good times. Next.
Yes.
What now, man? So you've been working on the Gen 8. What else have you been working on? So how can we have an hour and 20 in without talking about everybody's fun time, the middle of May? We're going to get together for a big fly-in down in Florida, and a lot of guys are building up some racer planes to get down there and rip them up with their buddies.
Yes.
What have you been working on? I still got to get my Hurricane dialed in.
So I've been working on a
Tell the guys. I'll be right back.
yeah, I've been working on a Dynam P-51 Mustang 1200 millimeter, and I have it right here. We have it right here, and this thing has a much bigger, motor cavity than I expected. So I mean, that thing is huge. You can like fit way bigger than a golf ball in there. You can almost fit a baseball inside there. So, you know, I have much more motor coming than I need for this thing. We are going to jam a V1200 motor into this tiny little 1200 Mustang. Hey, I figure it's a 1200. The V1200 is a 1200. So, the Dynam P47 comes with a 10-inch prop stock. The the V1200 comes with a 10-inch prop stock. So I got a V1200 motor with some 1010 props, 130 amp free wing ESC that I'm going to throw in this bad dog. And the problem is that the V1200 motor is way bigger, right? So the can is about it's a 5065 stator, right? It means that the stator is 50 millimeters across, right? That's big. Plus another give or take 10 millimeters to account for magnets and the can itself, you know. So that thing is probably going to be like 60 millimeters across, and the front end of this thing is only 63 millimeters. So in order to facilitate the V1200 motor, I have taken the front of the cowling off of the fuselage, and we're gonna put that back together later. And I've also taken this part of the airplane and split it in half. This is like magic. This is like, when you're talking about like surgical procedures and stuff, when you got like the little body that you can pull stuff away from. So, basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the V1200 motor. Heck yeah, I did it. Mickey BRC, he and I were talking about this last night. So what we're going to do is take the V1200 motor and get it in there and at the right incidence angle where everything kind of matches up. But this was an excellent opportunity to take the front of the airplane, just lob it off. I mean, we're going to reinforce this with some carbon fiber. Um, when we put it all back together, we're just going to basically epoxy the front of the fuselage back on after we get the V1200. So I'm basically going to be rebuilding the firewall in this plane and putting some hobby ply, however far back and whatever angle back I need to be able to fit that V1200 motor inside this thing. And we're just going to hog out all that foam and get rid of it, put a hobby ply firewall in there, and mount up that V1200 motor, put the sandwich back together, epoxy everything, wrap a bunch of tape around it, get it nice and tight. It's going to strip all the paint off, and that's okay because the name of the plane is going to be the Bare Naked Lady.
Nice.
And we're
Does
gonna.
it like, oh my goodness, chicken of China, the Chinese chicken?
Yeah, chicken of China, the Chinese chicken. So yes, we're gonna do all those things.
Watching X-Files with no lights on?
Yep. I can't remember all of the lyrics that go along with that. That's like trying to recite like the fast part of "It's the end of the world as we know it."
Chicken of China, the Chinese chicken? You have a
Or
drumstick and your brain starts ticking, watching X-Files with no lights on, and then something. No. I think the smoking man's in this one.
yeah,
Like Harrison Ford, I'm getting frantic.
yeah.
Yeah, on and on.
And what's the other one?
90s.
Maybe the "We Didn't Start the Fire." There was a whole lot of stuff going on, and we didn't
Oh
start the
man, I
fire.
used to know that one. The Billy Joel one. I could do it for a while. It was like high school.
Planes, archery, and table tennis. Yes, we can do that. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that we're doing with this Mustang. It is clearly not going to be stock.
Clearly.
Um, so the other thing that I've done with it, obviously, is I mean, you guys have seen these Dynam planes before, and if you haven't, you know, like right here, I mean, you have your control rods that run back. I've removed all the control rods that go to the back. The only one that's left is the one that runs the tail wheel steering. So I've still got my little tail wheel steering, little ball here, and that control rod, is running nice and smooth. So we're still going to have a single servo inside the fuselage to run just the tail wheel. All the other rudder and elevator servos are going to get repositioned. I'm going to hog out the foam back here and, embed them in the foam
Nice.
with ball link control rods. We're redoing all of our critical control
You're gonna
surfaces.
need the weight back there anyway.
Right. All of our critical control surfaces, so our ailerons, elevator, rudder, we're cutting the foam hinges and using hinge tape in a piano crisscross style, um, fashion with the hinge tape where, hopefully they won't pull away. I was going to fiberglass them in, but what we're going to do instead is we are going to do a carbon rod in the horizontal stabilizer on the back of the plane. But all of the planes we're going to use like the strapping tape, the reinforced packing tape.
Yes.
We're going to put that at least on the bottom of the wings and the horizontal stabs. The vertical stabs or the vertical stab, I'm going to run like two carbon fiber rods down the top of the vertical stab. But that one's pretty stout anyway. It's pretty stout on the Mustang. It doesn't like flop around. but everything that I can to get this airframe as rigid as possible. Um, and then we're just gonna let it rip, dude. I mean, we're putting a
I
1010
can't
prop on
wait.
it, so it not only is it going to have a V900 motor, but it's going to have a more aggressive prop than the V than well, it's got a V1200 motor, a bigger ESC, so we can run more current through it, and we're going to be running a 1010 prop where it's a more aggressive prop than the V1200 already comes with. So as long as we
That's
can,
going to be
yeah,
crazy.
as long as we can get this thing weighing in at less than 6 pounds, which is about what your all-up flight weight is of a V1200, as long as we can get the power to weight around the same as a V1200, I expect it to be, eh, unless we run into some weird issues with drag limitations, and that's where the aerospace engineering people know a lot more about that crap than stupid Dave, the electrical engineer. Like I can make power systems work, but I don't know much about aerodynamics. So I assume that we're going to run into some drag limitations, but when you got that much power, just push through it.
That's right. That's right. I can't wait to hear what that sounds like ripping through the air, man. When I was learning, I had this thing 3 times. It was the Nitro planes, ready to fly, perfect for beginner, 90% pre-assembled, Quan Lee P-47, 31-inch wingspan, 27 megahertz radio, one aileron servo in the middle pushing a guitar string. Never went back to neutral, right?
Right.
I don't know why I crashed it so much. It was nickel metal gearbox. I mean, it was just the worst. But on my third one, I cut in a spar in the wing. I used the dihedral tube and the carbon fiber from the GWS slow stick. So troughed it out, epoxied it in, filled it, painted over it, and made this thing crazy. So 2200 3S back then is like a 5000 6S now to me, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was moving up. I was getting outrunner motors. I didn't even know how to pick them. So I had an outrunner, like 400 size motor, super high KV, and enough of an ESC. And I had beefed up this plane, individual aileron servos, put a spar, like I said, in it, and it was an outrunner, and it was brushless, and it was lipo powered. This thing wasn't made for that.
Right. Right.
And I could go so fast that it would it would flutter, like the wing would flutter. It'd go so fast. But if I slowed it down, I could get 15 minutes out of that thing. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I'm going to have to do with this plane, right? I mean, it must be done. I can't have a linear throttle. I'm going to have to do a throttle curve, right, to be able to take it off. Because if
Oh,
I put this thing on
yeah,
like 20% throttle, that thing is like going to torque roll at you.
that's right. From nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
You
gotta
already know
do.
there's a ground loop in your future,
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know about that. So I think that this thing is going to be the fastest stole Mustang ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just put it on full flaps and just rip, whoom.
There you go.
Like I'm not even gonna roll out. I'm just gonna just take off, like a 3-pointer
Man,
takeoff. Just poof.
you could do it too. I mean, a
Or
little headwind, you'll be like an elevator.
maybe I should set up a stand where it like sits the plane vertical and just from a dead, from sitting on the ground, just
That'd be awesome.
just let it go straight up. Now,
You know what? Let it go straight up and like torque roll till it gets airspeed. I mean, like, wouldn't that be awesome if it could just do it?
I mean, it's going to have so much prop and so much motor. I don't know that this plane is not going to be able to do whatever you want, right?
You should call it the radial G. The radial G, because that's what it's going to be. Bam! Just like my perfect, ready to fly 31-inch P-47 experience.
Hey.
EPS.
Right. Hey, Harrison Ford uses the taxiway. I can too, man.
What's he do?
You,
The taxiway? Yeah.
You haven't heard the thing where Harrison Ford,
Mm.
it's like the ATC communications between Harrison Ford and the tower, and they're like, he's like, oh, well, I'm on runway, what? And they're like, no, you're on Charlie.
Oh.
You landed on taxiway Charlie there, Mr. Ford. Please call the
Didn't he?
tower.
Yeah. Did he wreck it too there? Or was that just a different time?
No, he didn't wreck it. He just landed on the taxiway instead of the runway.
Wasn't that the PT-22?
I don't know what he was flying.
Silver and yellow wings.
Yep.
Looks like a PT-19, but you kind of see the radial instead of having that little engine that the PTs have. The 22's got that radial with that nice spinner to kind of clean it up.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as a Ryan, right?
I believe so. Yeah, the PT-22 I think is what he crashed on the golf course when he landed on the taxiway. These guys are saying they think it was a Beaver, and I believe they're right.
Oh,
I remember
okay.
I remember the radio calls, him saying de Havilland.
I got you. And look, Patty Melt says Beaver.
Yep.
So's Kenny. Patty Melt. That sounds delicious.
Right?
Man.
When
I actually didn't. I didn't mess around. I messed around and didn't eat today. So guess what I've got?
A pizza.
No, for dinner. Guess what I got for dinner? I tell you guys.
Some Nick sticks.
Ding. I got dinner with me, dude.
Some organic Nick sticks and Triscuits, baby.
Get it with it dialed in.
Nice.
For real, that's dinner.
Hey, so, the other thing, there's all kinds of stupid stuff that I want to do down in Florida. And one of the things that I wanted to do is, use, because we got to make a spectacle of this whole thing.
They got dirt piles down there, man.
Yeah, they do. We're crawling all over some dirt piles. I'm going to bring my Creighton too, because the last time I was down at Imperial, we were jumping dirt
piles. That looks
piles.
so stinking good, dude.
It's so sick. I mean, it's just awesome.
Dang it.
Yep.
I want to send you one, man.
You got to get the links. There's just
links in the description.
Yes.
I know what you mean.
That's going to be funny. I'm actually going to use that when I do the video for all the upgrades. The links are in the description.
You're very welcome. Just like the stickers I told you about the other day.
Yeah, right.
Michael Bear, awesome, man.
So,
hope you enjoy them.
So I think instead of doing Mountain Dew, I'm going to get some Rolling Rock. Rolling Rock beer, you know.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better. Because if you do the Mountain Dew thing, you're going to have to swing from a rope into a body of water somewhere. And if you're really slick, you'll get some Twins and some Double Mint gum as well.
Right. So
call it the Speed Stick by Menon. There you go.
Speed Stick.
Dude, they had a P-39 painted like one for Reno races a long time ago.
So Francis gets it, Rolling Rock, because it's a rock crawler.
Perfect. I got it because it was green.
Well, the green too, but Rolling Rock beer uses the green. I mean, it'll go on there. It's not the same shade of green, but I don't give a crap.
They make that beer in, I think, Pennsylvania, don't they?
Perhaps.
It's crazy because they'll say they made 20, but they but it shows like a million
Right. So
overnight.
so the other thing that I'm wanting to do, other than wherever we can crawl this thing all over Mulberry, Florida, in the middle of the night because it's got freaking lights everywhere. Oh, and I found some hella lights on eBay.
Hella cool.
Yes, some hella Rally 3000 round lights to go on the light bar on the top, which is gonna look awesome.
Dude. Double trouble. Send me the link, bro.
Yes. Um, so we're gonna have this thing dialed in. I mean, it's already dialed in. We got our big fancy winch. So when your crappy crawlers get
Man.
stuck, we can just drag them out of the Everglades. And now, when Ryan gets back, we're gonna use some of Ryan's
I
like
gotta get mine.
yeah, we gotta use some of Ryan's magic magic calculations, Ryan, because here's a crazy idea I've got. I think that the Mustang is about 10th scale at 1200 millimeters.
Let's figure it out. I love math. Math time with Pilot Ryan.
Because
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
we have this giant 10th scale truck, and how cool would it be, to drag, like this is the best tugs for 10th scale vehicles. 10th scale airplanes are getting best tugged by the Red Cat.
I'm gonna figure it out right now. So, and what are you wanting to pull with it? The Mustang?
Yeah, 1200
Mustang
millimeter.
has a 37-foot wingspan. This is how you figure decals. This is how you figure scale. So 37 times 12 gives me 444 inches. Now, you say it's 48 inches?
It's 1200 millimeters, yes.
Divided by 48. 9.25, dude. So it's just over, so it's close enough, man. You're
It's
1/9 and a quarter scale. It's that easy.
Yes. I did see where RC Girl tinted the back windows of her Gen 8. Oh,
Yes.
and Ryan, the sticker that we talked about, that's definitely happening.
Awesome.
I don't know if people in here would enjoy it as much as I do, but I'm going to tell them what it is because it's funny. You want
Surface guys are going to dig it.
do you want
I
to,
want royalties.
do you want to tell them what it is? We're
No,
making,
you tell them.
we're
You tell
making,
them.
we're making a Calvin decal pissing on a Traxxas logo.
Our buddy Tony CCXRC put on the back of his Gen 8 Traxxas recovery vehicle. And he's been all over the place at events crawling with it. So RC Girl, Dave's RC, and Tony's CCXRC YouTube channels, and myself, I don't know how it happened, but managed to get these awesome Red Cat Gen 8s from BidGo Hobby. So that's who the who's working with these guys on that. Pretty neat.
Yep. So we're definitely doing the piss on Traxxas logo. The Calvin that he's going dead center in the rear.
Oh my gosh.
He's going right there.
Sick.
Here's the trajectory.
See, I
of
want
the
the royalties.
of the
You
PR.
take the heat.
You think the truck is closer to one? I mean, the truck is definitely bigger than 10th scale, but it's a 10th scale body. So yeah, I think that the truck, you could take the pilot out of this, the driver out of this truck and stick him in that Mustang, and he may be a little bit uncomfortable, but he'll be able to fly it. Yeah, this thing is ridiculous, dude. I, I'm I'm
All right.
super pumped.
I got two 1/10 scale crawlers right here on top of each other. The Axial and the Gen 8.
The Gen 8,
110 scale for a crawler is pretty standard fare.
yeah,
Like that's the one neat thing that you and I, in particular, you, I think, first noticed how the bits and bobs that you would upgrade with seem to almost be universal.
yeah, yeah. So like a lot of the bumpers, you know, like the spacing of the bumper posts for an SCX10 will fit on the Red Cat no problem. You know, most of the wheels, like your 1.9 and 2.2 inch wheels, will fit on our hub carriers no problem.
That's right.
You know, the links are pretty much the same. You know, the adjustable links. You know, everything. Uh, a lot of it's universal. You know, I've seen guys that took the axles out of an SCX10 and put them on a Gen 8. Now that was the Gen 8 V1, right? When they still had plastic differential gears. Um,
Okay.
and plastic, like plastic differential gears, plastic, all the gears were plastic in the driveline. But that's one of the nice things about the Gen 8 V2. Everybody buy a Gen 8 V2 if you're going to get one. The Gen 8 V2 is all metal gears in the driveline. You know, so your portal gears, your differential gears, your transfer case, your transmission, all the gears in the driveline are now metal.
So mine's not near as dialed in as Dave's yet, but I did dial it in really quick, really hard with the simple addition of that Firma ESC receiver combo, and then I got it on my DX5C because I think you and I and probably everybody's main complaint about that truck
It's
is
way
the
too touchy.
throttle response is just off the charts.
Yep.
So when you can put in a different radio and dial down the throttle or expo the throttle out, all of a sudden that platform is a real contender. And that paint looks legit. The scale looks good. I love that there's no body clips. I like it. I can't wait to dial it in. I have two of them. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I have the original um, orange and black like V1 or whatever, and I actually it's only going so fast still on stock power. I break stuff on it because I get to where I was actually man. I drove it today. I got zip ties holding it together right now, but I was jumping stuff with it. I mean, it goes fast enough to like
It,
hit these little
it
these
really
little
is.
jumps.
It really is quick. You know, the Gen 8 is, but you know, like you were saying, I mean, it's so touchy in the center. You know, so I
Yeah.
mean, if you give it any more than just like a feather finger on the throttle, I mean, that thing was like, "Ring," you know, trying to lift the front. You know, trying to lift the front wheels up, and it was just as bad with the brake. You know, so the speed control, there wasn't a lot you could do with it. You could adjust the drag brake, but you couldn't control the brake force when you went back to neutral on the throttle. You know, so if you were going high speed and you didn't let the throttle down easy, if you were going like top speed and just let the throttle go, I mean, it would flip itself over.
Oh, dude, it puts the brakes on. I was on loose stuff today, and if I got off the power, man, it's skidding.
Right. Right. So that's I only made like a couple of adjustments. I did adjust the drag brake just a hair, you know. So as far as like adjustments that you can do with that Firma 40 amp ESC, um, I adjusted the drag brake just a hair, you know, where it's not it'll roll just a little bit, you know, on
Nice,
a steep
nice.
incline. Um,
Yes,
you know, but you still have full throttle control. But I don't
I
want
got
it
to
to
do
like
that with mine.
right.
Mine rolls too easy. I gotta set up the drag brake with that program card we got.
Right, right, right. So I got mine where it stays pretty much stopped, but it goes down just a little bit, you know, and and I can still control the throttle if I want to go faster, or I can slow it down. So the drag brake's working perfect. I've got the brake
Nice.
force dialed way down, where when I let off the throttle, it's like me, like coasting. It'll still dig the front end down a little bit because you're slamming on
Nice.
the brakes, but it's a smoother rollout. It's not like locking up the tires.
So how much does yours weigh now compared to a stocker?
I don't know. Do you have a scale? You got Bobby's FedEx scale
I
somewhere.
think I might. Hold on a minute.
Like yours is pretty much stock, right? Dude,
I think I got a battery in it too. I need to take it out.
that little bitty scale is not going to hold the weight of that truck.
You don't think so?
It might, man. Let's go for the glory.
Do you know? Can you tell me what yours weighs?
Yes, but I want to know what the stock one weighs first. The only thing you've added is the wheels, right?
The wheels, and let me take the battery out. And that Firma, yeah.
So
So,
mine, I'm going to tell you what the all up weight is, ready to drive with the battery and everything else.
but my wheels, these wheels don't weigh much. These are just those pre-mounted on the plastic. They're not like real beadlocks like my other ones.
Right, but they'd be about the same weight as the stock ones, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So you're probably not far off of stock weight.
probably not.
So if you can weigh that, then I'll tell you how much mine weighs after all the mods. Because I know exactly how much mine weighs, but
All right, man. Let me get the battery out.
no, leave the battery in.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I weighed mine. I mean, that's how you're
All
gonna
right
drive
then.
it. You're gonna drive it with the battery in.
5,000 G2 2S is what I got hard case.
Okay. Now I
If
do.
you
I run mine with a 5000 G2 3S pack,
3S,
so it's a little heavier than what you got.
but you got a lot going on in your truck right now too.
There is, man.
I still have the old ESC mounted also.
Well, you still have the old receiver in there too, don't you?
No, just the box. But
Okay.
I mean, what's it weigh? I mean, goodness,
Nothing. I took
nothing.
I took all that out.
Holy crap. Okay. 7 pounds, 11 ounces.
7-Eleven. That sounds about right. I think when I weighed mine, it came in at 7-Eleven, and I thought it was funny. I was like, 7 pounds, 11 ounces. This thing weighs 9 pounds, 7.1 ounces now.
Wow.
So almost a full 2 pound difference.
You know what? This axial is 7 pounds, 7 ounces.
Yeah, so the Red Cat weighs 2 full pounds more than the SCX 10-3.
Dang. And that much more than mine.
Right. And I mean, the winch added some weight, so I don't know how much. Probably not enough to measure.
No, but weight's kind of a good thing on these, right? I mean,
Well,
down low.
what I found out, and I told you this, is, you know, if your tires are vented, you have to get stronger foams. You have to get like chunkier and more.
Is yours really smushed down then?
No, because I didn't vent my tires. My tires are sealed,
Oh, that's right.
but they do get smashed, even though they're sealed. Um, it's pretty cool.
It is cool. And man, these guys that crawl, they let the air out a little bit before they do stuff.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not going to mess with them. I'm going to leave them how they sit. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to take this to like a crawler competition. You know what I'm saying?
You
Uh,
could.
oh yeah, yeah. Especially if I put like the Rolling Rock stuff on it. I think that's gonna look
Dude,
sick.
I think that works good with that crowd, man.
And it works good with a rock crawler.
Yes,
I mean, it's
perfect.
Rolling Rock
Way better than Speed Stick.
or Mountain Dew. I
Yeah,
mean, I think Mountain Dew probably would have worked, but I think Rolling Rock
yeah,
works even better. Um,
it does. William, thank you for that. Thank you very much.
and obviously, I got to put the Air Marshal wings somewhere. So,
Totally.
the same as I did on my Waco. So, I think I'm gonna do like the Air Marshal wings, like right here, and then Rolling Rock logo on the hood, and like Rolling Rock logos on the doors. Maybe just the mountain, because I think there's a mountain in the backdrop of the
Yeah.
Rolling Rock logo. So
Yeah.
so maybe I'll just do the
Prettier.
mountain of the Rolling Rock logo on the door, and then have like the Rolling Rock lettering on the hood with the mountain
Nice.
and stuff in the background.
Nice.
Yep, I think it'll look sweet.
I gotta trick mine out, man, some more. I can't stand it now. I got the same roof rack as you. I just gotta put it together.
It's these roof racks, man. That was the biggest pain in the butt of all of the upgrades I did.
I wish I just bought one that was together already. It's like how many screws to do that stupid little roof rack? It's nuts.
um,
I opened it up and I'm like, what in the heck have I gotten into? Stick family back window. Hangar 51, what Dave's gonna do is Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes. Go ahead and tell him, Dave.
so, Kenny, I'm doing. I'm sure you've seen Calvin. Like turning his head around. Peeing on a Chevy emblem or peeing on a Ford emblem. I'm gonna have Calvin pissing on a Traxxas logo, and that just makes me happy inside. Hey, William, you got
Will,
it, bud.
yeah, man. I was gonna say William just thanked you for that. Yeah, that stuff is super helpful, man. That's super helpful. Tug Hill, thank you. I wish I had one actually right now.
You know,
A little bit.
I mean, Heineken would kind of work with this color too. Look, I get that it's a brighter green, that it's more of like the double mint gum green, but I don't care. We're still doing Rolling Rock. I'm
Yeah,
sticking
man.
with Rolling Rock.
A little dabble do ya. Man,
And George Watts.
there was still butch wax in the medicine cabinet of the house I grew up in. Let's take a couple guys back on that one. Butch wax.
Butch Wax.
I'm not being funny about, people's preferences. I'm just saying this stuff was for your hair and a little dab. That stuff was so crazy. I can't believe people put that stuff
Yeah,
in their hair.
Butch Wax and Vitalis.
I used it a couple times, man.
Yep, when I wanted to look like the Fonz, get a bunch of,
Serious. Man, that stuff was thick.
or go get you some lard from the grocery store. Like skip the Crisco and go straight to the meat section and ask the butcher for some back fat from a pig. Like,
Ah,
just give me a big old can of lard. I need to fix my
that's what we
hair.
should do is like come up with these old sponsors that this definitely wouldn't be doing it still. But Little Kings, you ever have those little ales?
I don't think so.
Maybe you could do Brute by Fabergé instead of Rolling Rock.
Yeah, Brute would look good. That'd be funny.
I had to say it, man. Barry Campbell put it out here.
Why do people keep like, one guy's saying do speed stick, someone else is saying to do Brute. What are y'all saying, that I'm stinky? Oh, I guess based on my last live stream, they probably would be saying that.
Safe to assume.
Yeah, you know, but it's only for periods of time. Like, I'm not a physically stinky person. It's only during moments when I've had something bad to eat.
It's only in public.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
When I was a young warthog.
Yes. So I'm super stoked about how this thing is going to turn out when I do the Calvin.
Looks so good, dude.
Yeah, when I have Calvin peeing on a Traxxas logo.
Red Cat's got to be loving this, man. They got to be loving what you're doing, dude.
I,
And
I
then after
I
you
think
do
they
that
get a big
sticker,
kick out of that.
after you do your sticker, Traxxas will come see if you want to do any, brand deals.
Yeah, like, hey man, do you want to do a TRX4? Like, no.
Say yes and send it to me.
So I'll say yes, and then I'll put that same sticker on their truck too.
Holy
But
smokes.
it'll still be a piss on Traxxas sticker.
Gosh, you got strong feelings about it.
I really do.
I enabled you. I almost feel bad. It was just an idea, man. Just a creative brainstorm or creative brain fart. Who knows?
Whatever. It's an awesome idea.
You like it.
As soon as you were
You
like,
really like it.
Calvin pissing on a Traxxas logo, and I was like, yes, that is epic.
Boone 870 says he ordered an FMS Olympus using a Pilot Ryan Media yesterday. Will that make it 10 mile per hour faster than other Olympus? The answer? In just a few moments.
If
Yes,
if
it will.
if you put a Pilot Ryan Media sticker on it, it will go 10 miles an hour faster than that.
Oh, and if you wear merch, even faster.
You go even 10 more miles an hour faster.
I'm telling you, the FAA will be getting a hold of you soon. I like that. Hey, you're a good time. I appreciate you, and thanks for telling me. Boone 870. That's very cool. And to be honest with you, it will go just as fast. Full disclosure, it'll go just as fast as all of the other ones bought through other links. He's into it though. We've sold him on these goods. Yeah, man.
William, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We won't
Yeah,
talk
man.
about that because it's Ryan's stream, man. It's
No,
Ryan's.
but
It's all about PilotRyanMedia.com tonight.
no, man. You're here too. It's totally cool. And I mean, you're my bro. Like William says, hey Dave, I ordered my NX8 through your links. I just let you know to help out for all the info. I really like it. Man, seriously, there's no shame in that game, man. I ain't mad at you either because I know you provide a tremendous service on that stuff, the technology. So, I mean, good, dude, everybody's free to choose who they like. And man, Dave has done the work on that stuff. I mean, he deserves the click. Um, I think when you have the product and you do the work, that's one thing to consider. But honestly, you just support who you want to support, regardless of whatever.
Right.
So, but it makes sense that if you're learning and upgrading your tech and you're getting tremendous value out of all of the videos he's made and the time it takes to make those videos, man, click it, support it.
Hey, an NX10 is even better. Hey, look, I'm not, I can't say how much. There is a small commission paid back to the channel, and obviously, the more you buy, the more it supports the channel. So it's awesome. And right now, if you buy more than $400 at HorizonHobby.com, you're going to get a $40 gift certificate. So you're already saving 10% out of the gate.
That's right. No matter who you click.
That's right. So what I'm saying is now is a good time to go spend $400 at Horizon Hobby and click on rcairmarshal.com to do it.
That's right.
Save yourself 10%. So
Yeah, Ken, a lot of you guys do that, like you go the rounds, you take turns and stuff.
and that's awesome. I Calvin pissing on logos has been done to death, which is what makes it so funny. because it's kind of an old school truck. Like this was the start of Calvin pissing on things.
Right. OG. OP.
Right. So, that's what I love about it is it's kind of a retro type of deal. Um, and the truck is very retro anyway. Oh, Ryan. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, we won't get too much into it because it's kind of the highlight of my Monday episode. And
Tease it, man.
I've told you already, we're going to be looking at resin 3D printing and what we
Yes.
can do with resin 3D printing instead of FDM, and talking about the differences between FDM 3D printing and SLA
Cool.
3D printing, and you know what the advantages are, and if you want like the little scale bits, little axes, the door
Yeah.
handles, the locks, the windshield wipers, all the stuff that we can do with these crawlers, to really scale them out. That's why I got it. Yeah, I mean the having an SLA 3D printer is the way to go. So I'll be able to hook up all the people that I like with all the scale bits, gas
Nice, man.
caps.
Dude, I'm in. We get the same truck. Let's do it.
Yeah, gas caps, all that stuff. You know,
I want some like scale trash for the truck bed inside.
well, with an SLA printer, I mean, I can make like 10th scale, little Bud Light cans, 10th scale Pabst Blue Ribbon cans.
Can you make these?
What, Starbucks bottles? Yes.
Or the cups? Those white cups.
The little foam cups or little Starbucks cups with the
Yeah, the
prob
white ones, man.
yeah, probably the white ones with the little cardboard.
It's so iconic, dude.
Yeah.
With the band on it. That cardboard band so you don't melt your hand off.
So listen, I mean, yeah, when we get into the whole thing, I mean, we're going to talk about it Monday, guys. If you guys want to talk about like 3D printers until our freaking brains explode, tune into the show on Monday night.
Yeah, do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, only because I'd be out of the loop, which makes me feel like when I used to spend time with one of my best friends, rest his soul, man, a Puerto Rican kid who I met when he was going to Ball State in Muncie. We became good friends and played in bands together and roommated a few times. I mean, great kid, but when he would get with, other people that spoke Spanish, man, I was out of the loop. Same way I'm out of the loop when you guys start talking about 3D printers
So,
and OpenTX. Thank you very little.
right. So Barry Campbell asked, where would I get the Calvins? And my answer to you is I have a Cricut Maker die cutting machine and sheets of
Sick.
vinyl, right? So I'm just going to take a white sheet of vinyl, punch in, a little Calvin thing, and let that little plotter. It's like a plotter, but instead of like a pin, it's got like an X-Acto blade in there, so it
Nice.
cuts the vinyl out. It's like a mill, you know, for cutting vinyl. It's awesome. So I'm gonna make my own. There's plenty of there's plenty of SVGs, which is like a vector graphic. Um,
What's up, Lyndon?
and I'm gonna take, a Calvin vector graphic of Calvin peeing on whatever, and then add the Traxxas logo and cut it out, and then stick it on the back of the truck.
Fred Barron makes a bunch of scale accessories, bed rolls, firewood bundles, rope. Yeah, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
That stuff
So
is cool.
it's all
Yeah,
stuff to
there's a
load on
lot
the
you
roof
can.
rack.
Fabrics, man. When you mix these things together, holy moly. It can be really neat. You know what? I never thought in a million years I would give a rip about making one of these things look real. but it's fun. It's fun, and you can do it in your yard.
Yeah, Barry Campbell, the cricket, when you have a fresh blade on it, I mean, you can cut some very tiny, tiny details. The hardest part is what's called weeding. You got to weed out the little bits that aren't supposed to be there. So you're doing that with like a piece of really fine tweezers or like a dental tool, um, trying to get that stuff out of there. So that can be a pain in the butt, but I don't care. When it comes to pissing on Traxxas, I will spare no expense and I will, put as much time as necessary to make it happen.
That's awesome.
William, that is a Habu jet behind me.
Hey guys, just to,
Yes.
I mean, no big deal, but I don't know if you guys see. I think you see the Teespring store pinned as a comment today. There's a 30% off code, just in case anybody's interested, and I'm gonna type it in right now.
Roach Coach, like piss on Traxxas stickers? Would you get in trouble if you put them on eBay? I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to tell you to cease and desist?
They might, and then so you just stop. Ken Sprouse flew his Husky special edition today on 6S. That thing is bad to the bone. It is bad to the bone. When I did that, the last video I did on the Husky, because I've done a few now, it was just to show off those tires, those 4.5-inch Dubros that me and Dave used.
Yeah.
And I flew it on 4S. But, dude, that thing is dialed in regardless of which battery you choose to use. I would like to try a 5S sometime, but I just don't have one. Michael Bear, very cool.
I wonder
Speaking of drag, no prep drag racing, I can't wait for Bobby K and I's, dragsters to come.
Yeah, so I wonder how inappropriate it would be, like how just straight classless it would be for me to put a picture of my Piss on Traxxas sticker on the back of the Red Cat and tag Traxxas in the Instagram post.
Holy smokes. Dang.
Like, hey, fellas.
This reminds me of, like, what is it, The Princess Bride? Like, the guy's got this beef he's going to take to the grave. You killed my father.
Yeah, my
right?
name is Montoya. You killed my father. Now you must die.
That's your relationship with those guys.
Like, how dare you try to make me stop using the best cars in the industry?
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny. No, I really have no beef with Traxxas at all, and I would gladly own, most of their vehicles, but I mean, this is like almost like a gag at this point, because they've come a long way since their humble beginnings. They were not a very good company. They weren't making very good stuff when they first came out. I mean, now the X-Max is like bad to the bone,
Dude. It's over here taking up half the room.
Right, and the TRX4 is fantastic. So, am I really dogging on Traxxas? Like, nah. I mean, it's almost a gag at this point. Like, I can't stand those guys, but their trucks are awesome.
Right. I want to try the TRX4, and I've almost pulled the trigger a bunch, but I just want to really dial in what I got first. You know what I mean? I still think that I may want to dial in, do some extra. I feel like I love that axial Jeep, but I really want to do something else to it. Make it its own rig, I mean,
Right.
Even putting a Ford Bronco body on it. Like, I'm a sucker for these square body backs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I got a 73 Bronco body from Proline that I gotta put on something. I showed you I started cutting that one Gen 8 down to make it a
Yeah,
truck. That's my only truck.
and it looks great. I mean,
It does.
it looks great as a pickup.
I gotta finish the bash though. You know what I mean? I gotta get the bed in there, paint
Right.
it, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in there.
But flying, next thing that's got me kind of on edge in a good way is man, that Rafale. And I've been digging that F-15 a lot. I got 3 or 4 videos of that thing, man. That F-15, if you're on the fence, I don't. I think they still have some left, and I know the MiG-29s are coming back. But Bobby and I did a video where we flew the MiG-29 and the F-15, and then I did a just a landing touch and go video on the F-15. I felt like it really deserved it because my first flights, it was stupid windy, and I was wrangling settings down to reality on my AS3X AR637T because I had default gains. It was just too much.
Francis,
So,
don't listen to Bledsoe. He knows who I am. He's just messing around. So
yeah, South Bend's okay.
yeah, I mean, when the Rafale first
What's up,
came
Joe?
out, I really wasn't a big fan of the paint, like the yellow with the crazy
Yeah,
tiger claws and all. But the more I see it, the more I like it.
I cannot wait
It's
to
like
fly it.
that's actually pretty cool. That's like some Thundercat stuff. I
Yeah,
can dig it.
dude, that crow. I'm just like super interested to see how that works. And I think we put what did we put in there, man? I think I got stabilization in that thing, man, which is always fun. It's kind of nice, especially on those deltas where I like to fly them slow. So give me all the help I can in the roll when I'm really slow. How much damage did Bobby do to his P-51? You can really see it in the video if you watch it till the end, because there's a clip where I have Mark turn around and get a shot of his P-51. So what Bobby lost was his props and his drops. So he lost his prop blades and his drop tanks. Otherwise, that thing has just got a severe hanger rash. Now, he hit hard enough. There may be some structural stuff we're not seeing. He was full speed, guys, when that happened. Um, man, that video is actually doing really good. I think it's because I told everybody in the beginning they got to wait till the end for the crash. That's the only reason. The minute they've seen the crash, it drops off on retention, like totally. Always learning on the tube.
But
Go watch it if you haven't seen it, dudes.
but I'll tell you what I thought was great.
Soft tires.
What I thought was great about that was Ken Sprouse is not wrong. So you're coming in, you're on like short final, right? Bobby is like
Slow as possible with the Falk Wolf.
Bobby's like just starting his base leg.
Yeah.
And this guy comes screaming around, and you're just about to like I don't know if you were planning on doing a touch and go, or I don't know if you were coming in for full stop, but like I mean, he was on the other side of the field, and comes just ripping it around like
Dude, he was full throttle and he was so close. Yeah, no, Mark didn't get the landing for Bobby, which was awesome. He skipped off, had so much momentum. He ended up being able to stretch the glide all the way across the road to our left and into the dirt, like it's just tilled up dirt about 20 or 30 yards. Had the best belly landing ever, just like the sequence from The Aviator where Howard Hughes DiCaprio belly lands that racer in the tomatoes. It was amazing. So good. I was so busy watching him that I ran my Focke Wolf into the
Into
fence.
the fence. Yeah, yeah.
And then Mark turned off the camera while Bobby was laughing. I love Mark, but I'm gonna tell him like, dude, listen, hey, keep it rolling, dude, till we say cut. Do me a favor,
Right.
because man, it was a cut up, and then I had nothing. I was just trying to salvage that video because I mean the crash is epic. I mean it was like at our feet basically. It's never that good. If you have one, they're always far away. I mean, it was right there in front of us. I was like, dude, I'm going to show this 3 times. I don't even care.
But what's awesome is that it really is a testament to just how tough that plane is. You
Oh,
know, because it's a foamy. You
yeah,
normally don't see, foam planes just skip off like that. Like if you hit that hard with a foamy, 9 times out of 10, the wings are folded and that thing is a cracked done. It's
dude.
done.
I've got one. So I was flying this isn't out, but I've got a clip of my E-flite Blue Angel F-18. I forgot I had the flaps on, and I was kind of in a dive, full ripper, over the grass, but still kind of center, full flaps, full speed, probably not high rate, and I couldn't pull out. And I skipped that F-18 off the dirt so hard it ripped off a bunch of the intake stuff, the missiles, lost my canopy, and the nose stretched out about 5 inches. The carbon fiber in the wing root glove,
Yeah,
leading
yeah.
edge extension stuff, like cantilevered it out where I extended the plane just like the SR-71 gets longer when it's going supersonic. Well, the F-18 will, if you skip it off the ground, also go longer. Send it out, cantilevered out on carbon fiber, flew it around another 1.5 times, and landed it perfectly in the grass. Actually, I tried to drop the gear because I'd have put it on the runway, but they weren't coming down.
Yeah,
And
did it like
so
sever the lines when you extended the front by 5 inches?
yeah, something's undone. So that's actually pretty crazy too. It is amazing what they can take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I remember like when that P-51 came out. I mean, there's people that are like, "Oh, it's just a beer cooler, right? Like an airplane shaped." Man, there's so much more to it than that. Uh, and that's a testament, like I said, to that Carbon Z construction. Where they've basically got
Dude,
like carbon fiber reinforcement all over that airplane.
that plane can hold my beer
Yeah,
anytime, and it's a super fun time to
like
fly.
a lesser plane would not have survived what Bobby just did to that thing. What what you got going on there?
I'm just looking at the comments, but on my phone.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, we're always thankful when Mark picks up the camera. He's not a cameraman, so it's just great to have him capture when Bobby and I fly together like that, because otherwise we don't get it at all.
Right.
So, new camera. Mine has an eye cup on it that'll keep the sun out. He was using Bobby's new camera. You guys saw where the sun was. There's no eye cup. He had a shirt over his head. I am not mad at him, dude. Guys picked on him in the comments a little bit, but you know what?
Hey, that's cool
I
that
showed,
he tried, that he like
dude,
put a
I'm
shirt
glad,
over his
I'm
head.
appreciative. I'm totally appreciative of him doing that. And I'm super looking forward to this DJI FPV drone I got, man, for doing some of this.
Yeah, those things look really cool.
Dude, I was in the like normal and sport mode, not even the wicked manual mode, and I felt like I was keeping up with like 40 plus mile an hour traffic.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's supposed to hit like 80 plus 90 miles an hour in its
In man,
in its
yeah.
manual mode. That's
Yep.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to trying that manual mode. You got to loosen up this will be the first time I mess with the tension on a radio.
Mm,
You got to loosen up the throttle,
okay.
so you can let it bottom out. I did not get the hand controller because it's probably an extra 100, $200. And I was like, man, I'll actually, I wish I had it. It'd be cool if it came with it, but I did not get it. I did not get it. It's going awesome. I flew it yesterday. I felt super comfortable. And the night before, I downloaded their app and everything for the virtual flight. You can go fly a couple locations and get familiar with that thing.
Yeah, isn't that free, or do you have to have like a code or
Yeah,
something?
it's free. I mean, you log in. You know what I mean? You got to create an account or something like
Sure,
that.
but like anybody can
Fred, you bought it?
download that, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it works with the controller. You know what I mean?
Ah,
So you're dialed in with the whole system and your phone and the goggles. So the phone can see it and your goggles can see what's going on.
gotcha. That's cool.
It's super cool, man. Yeah, Paul Grice, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm gonna obviously try not to break that thing, but I actually bought the protection on it because I know what I want to do with it, and I might break it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like my drones. I mean, I don't care as much about the drones because most of them are like I build them, right? Um,
Yes, not me, boy.
yeah, they're. I mean, they're not hard to put together, but I mean, I get it. You got a
She
lot
had
more
me at
going
ready
on.
to fly, dude. She had me at ready to fly bundle
Right.
with, and if I want the SD card, you got me.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys know me. I like to tinker with stuff. Like when I had that Radio Master thing all torn apart, screws everywhere, and somehow got it all back together again without breaking it. So I enjoy, like building and soldering all the wires to the flight controller and all that stuff, and playing around in beta flight, whatever. But like a couple of my drones, I have the GoPro Hero 8 Black mount. Um,
Okay,
and I mean, I'll send them. And I've got
nice.
that Hero 8 Black, you know, on the front of a drone that's going 100 miles an hour. So, yes, I got the protection plan on that GoPro. Same as the DJI protection plan. Like if anything
Yeah,
happens
man.
to it, like if I launch that thing off the front of a drone and it flies 500 feet, I just have to have a piece that looks like it might go to a GoPro and be like, I destroyed my Hero 8. Like here's all I
Yeah,
got
cause
left.
yeah, I put that dude. The minute I got that DJI in my hands, I put that son of a gun on my Amazon store. I was like, this thing's awesome, and I bet I like it so much somebody wants to buy some.
Right.
I mean, it's just gonna happen. I loved it. I am not a drone guy, but like all of a sudden now I'm paying attention. Like it is super neat. I had the DJI Phantom 2 Plus, hated it. Slow. I had to look at my cell phone. I couldn't see. I'm trying to chase a plane with it. The only thing you can chase with that is a mountain or a ditch, something that's not moving and really big.
Right.
And so, for my purposes, what I wanted it for, it was not cool for me. But man, I'm telling you, I've been wanting to chase quad. Captain Mike has tried to do it for us a couple times. We've never seen one frame of footage out of it. So the fact that this thing's like super reliable, easy to use, flies like a Mavic, consumer, anybody can do it. Um, you got me. You got me, because I don't have time to build one up and program it. I'm not that dude. Like, you easily are that guy, but it ain't for me.
Right. Right. And I hope that what it fosters too is a situation where when guys learn how to fly with with that DJI drone. You
Yeah,
know
and
that.
push it.
Right, right, and really, get into the manual mode and get into the really fast flying and full manual control. That'll open up doors, where people that wouldn't have normally explored the idea of a drone, of any kind of quad, maybe going and getting like an iFlight, like a really
Man.
high performance drone. Um, because some of those things are just wicked. And now DJI, well, not so much DJI anymore, but like two of the big camera manufacturers make, um, flight controllers and receivers and stuff that'll work with the DJI radio and the DJI
Oh, cool.
goggles, that you strap into, and you can buy the
See you,
drones,
George.
from like your bigger drone manufacturers, or the bigger, ready to fly manufacturers. You can basically buy a bind and fly DJI drone, for like $400.
It will freestyle a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
honey Chuck. I mean, it's this is a hybrid offering. So it's not like the guys who have already been freestyling, they're not going to get this to freestyle with. This is like their apprentice, right? You get this to teach somebody how to fly one on because you got that normal mode and sport mode. It's super easy. I love the resolution that it films in and how there's no parallax. What you see in your goggles is what you're capturing on the file. There's a SD card slot on the drone and on the goggles. So you can film the lower res if you want to see your telemetry and watch it back or something, I suppose. And then, of course, the footage I had from the drone itself, clear. You know what I mean? It's
right.
just the footage.
Which is awesome, and I've flown with the DJI goggles. They're amazing. I haven't switched to them myself, but that's one of the reasons that I'm looking at it, is because it's so cool what this thing does. It's kind of like the perfect mix of,
It's a tool.
right. It's
Perfect tool for what we do.
well, and I like the idea of being able to just have it like just hang out, and
Yes.
just
Yeah.
and just hover, hands off, just hover, and you can push it and it'll come back. I mean, it still
Oh
does
man.
all of the, like collision avoidance and all that stuff that you would get on like a Mavic. I don't think you can set waypoints and all that stuff in there.
Only in normal mode does it have
Right.
obstacle avoidance. And to answer Dana's question, if I remember right, the resolution in the goggles is 720,
Yep.
but it's like 60 frames a second, 4K res on the footage you
The
get.
recording, yeah, it's 4K, 60 FPS.
You might be able to dial that down. I don't know, or it may just be it is what it is. There is no follow function that I know of, but I'm not completely sure they couldn't update that in later, but I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, with proper funding, anything is possible.
Yeah, right. Hey guys, I have a super busy day tomorrow. Lots of flight videos coming soon. Have a great night, gentlemen. I'm heading to bed. Good to see you all. Dave's
Good
RC
night,
out.
Dave's RC.
See you later, man. Ken Sprouse, yeah, man. Anybody feeling like Teespring, dude, save 30% with the code capitals, all capitals, member. That's offered. Everybody can have that. Um, it's one of those things that anybody can take advantage of. What's up, George Pryor? Man, we've been 2.5 already.
That's
I'm thinking
crazy.
we see you later, Pops. I'm thinking we got like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy that we've been going that long already.
I'm glad you came,
It
man.
seems like it was only like 20 minutes ago that I'm getting this text message like 10 minutes before your show starts supposed to start. Like, yeah, man, I
So
think
great.
I can make it happen.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you did. I was ready, but this is better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like doing the shows by yourself, it gets pretty boring. It's much more fun to have somebody to bounce stuff off of.
It is, man. And I mean, look, sometimes we have something that we're doing. A lot of times we don't. I've been pulling it off, riffing on the comments, and it's great. Um, but it is really nice having a guest, a co-host, more folks,
Yeah, well, like I
and
was
it's
saying, I mean, we started this. I mean, we didn't even get on Skype until like
like 5 till.
5 minutes to 9. So it is Bobby K's girlfriend's birthday tonight.
That's right. I'll be right back. Tell them all about it, Dave. What have they won?
You've won nothing. If you ever,
You've won that Bobby's not here tonight.
yeah,
That's all. It's
have you,
not even a good
did you
thing.
ever see that movie UHF with Weird Al?
No.
It was really stupid, but they were playing some game about
No way. Weird Al?
yeah, they were,
And it was
yeah,
stupid?
right. They were playing some game about what's in the box, so you can either take what's in the box or you can take what's on the wheel. So the lady, it's like the wheel of fish. I think that was the name of it, was the wheel of fish. So the lady spins the wheel and lands on red snapper. You can either keep the red snapper or you can take what's in the box. And so the lady takes what's in the box and they uncover it. And like, there's nothing, absolutely nothing in the box. You're so stupid. That was pretty funny. But anyway, hope everybody had a good time tonight, man. I guess Ryan, I don't know. He's talking about wrapping it up in like 5 minutes, but it looks like he already took off. So is everybody look, was everybody able to get out and fly? I mean, the weather is kind of nasty all over the East Coast right now. The weather is terrible down here in Georgia. The weather is terrible, kind of across the Midwest. I mean, it's like rainy and storming. I mean, we had like a crazy hailstorm here during the middle of the day on Friday. Um, where Amy and I like had to go and crawl inside of our closet down here with the dogs and the cat, like, oh God. I mean, there was hail like beating the top of the house in. Race 22 crew. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I do not, but Spencer Keith has two of the ISDT Q8 chargers. So if you get in touch with Spencer Keith, I know that he really enjoys those chargers and he can tell you all about them.
Guys, I want you to, anybody interested in the off topic, kind of, sort of, but the soft tires on that Falk Wolf, I love them. I did a little short video where I put them on back on the channel. And then at the end of that crash video from last night, today, most of you, there's a bunch of 3-point landings on those soft tires. I will tell you one thing. And Pilot Jerry, he turned me on to the wheel mod on the Mustang. And with that, it's necessity to epoxy those hubs together so the Robark tire doesn't kind of blow them apart.
That's for the Mustang mod, right?
Yes, but guess what I noticed when with multiple landings, crosswind, side loads, and everything on the Falk Wolf, I'm gonna take those apart and also glue those hubs together because there's nothing. It's just friction with the circlip that's holding them.
Right.
And with the super hard tire, I think even then that hub would eventually kind of waller apart a little.
Oh yeah.
So, but with the soft tires especially.
Well, and even if they start to separate and they're kind of sticking out of the side of the tire, that circlip is going to start wearing into it,
Yes.
and just
Yeah.
eating it until the carrier of the side comes off, and then the whole thing is just a big floppy mess.
Right. Then you gotta do some modeling, throw in some washers or something. But you might be able to avoid it altogether if you just glue those. Daryl Pinson, the HSD 262 is fantastic. I got my first flight in the bag. We filmed it. It was slick. I can't wait to show you guys. Be staying tuned. Um, Man, I love it. I loved it. It flew really good. I put two 5500 roaring tops all the way in the front and let her rip. And that thing did not disappoint at all. I cannot wait to take it out some more. Let Bobby get a rip. And I think Bobby's getting one. I mean, he's just like, I got to have it. So, yeah, it's a hot ticket. I have flown the Dynam, the Free Wing, both versions, and now the HSD 262. And the HSD is totally my favorite.
Right.
I get that it's not for,
And
everybody. I'm in a fortunate position to be able to do these things, man.
I'm very interested in seeing how whatever the V2 V3 of the Dynam works out. Um,
Yeah,
with the
like 6S in
6S. Yeah,
runners. Those
6S,
are in runners
6S
too.
in runner, 12 blade fans. Yeah, I mean, it's not,
Whoosh! There it is.
that's that's cool.
It is cool. I'm anxious to see it too. I always felt like that one had a bit of an incidence.
Oh, and they're doing full suspension struts with the metal retracts.
Yeah, metal trunnion retracts, even on the Hawker Hunter.
Yeah, yeah. So the retracts of the Hunter with suspension struts now on the new 262. So that's like a good V2 instead of
Yeah,
we swapped a couple of wires on this motor and now you have counter rotating props.
yeah. The paint's changed.
V2.
Scott Settle, glad to have you, man. See you later. Have a good one. Don't let your subscription run out to Nick Sticks, the official beef stick of RC. At least it is for me.
Nick Sticks. That's awesome. You I wonder if they have like a plug, like a radio plug or something that they do. If they
Yeah,
can give you the like what they have broadcasters say when they're doing like their radio plug.
but through a time machine. So listen here, see, there's no better beef stick than Nick Sticks. All like old school, like Lucky Strike theater or something. Dana's RC. So if you get that 262 at HSD Jets USA, there's a shipping charge. There's also going to be a shipping charge anywhere you get that, because
It's big.
you can't do business otherwise. The brakes are awesome, man. I landed it, hit the brakes pretty much right away. It was so perfect. I cannot wait for y'all to see it.
So I gotta ask for the guys that have tried the Nick Sticks. I haven't dipped my hand into the Nick Sticks pot yet. Are they great?
Are you asking me?
No, because you're obviously biased.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm not. I'm not. I mean, but it's true, or I couldn't do it. My answer is yes, and I'll let the other guys tell you. But my family had been snacking on them for, I mean, literally 2 or 3 years, easy,
Because
before
like
I did
I
this.
eat, like brand name beef jerky, um,
Ugh.
and it's okay, but is it great? I mean, eh.
Have you seen Ratatouille? Have you seen Ratatouille where they're like, you're a food critic, but you're so skinny?
Right.
He doesn't swallow if he doesn't love it. I remember not having these, and I was out on the route, and I mean, we've been on these for a while. I was carrying mail. This was years ago,
Right.
and um, I got a regular brand name one at like the gas station. Let's just say I didn't love it.
Right.
Not gonna
So,
follow through with that one.
and I like the Jack Link stuff better than the like Slim Jim. So I'll usually get like a pack of Jack Link's beef jerky. But can you get beef jerky from Nick Sticks, or is it just like beef sticks and like big old jerky sticks?
You know what? We get really the same stuff, and we've tried some other kinds, but it's always just like sticks. So I don't know if they actually have that or not, but click the link in the description and find out for yourself.
Uh,
Actually, it's not in the description, but it is on the
it's on the
website, my
website.
website.
Yeah, I can find out.
Petrinchik Brothers RC in the house. Big salute to all RC
All
lovers
right.
from Pilot Robert, coming at you from Slovenia. Good to see you, dude.
Salute
Good to see you.
to the
Scott Settle said
Petrinchiks.
that the jerky is coming soon. He saw a note on the website. That's
That
fantastic.
they got jerky coming. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, so I usually eat like the Jack's Links or the Jack Links jerky and the Jack Link sticks, because
Those aren't
that's
bad.
what we have here. But I
Those aren't bad,
I
though,
gotta try out the
either.
Nick sticks though,
Come on, man.
because if they're fantastic, and I eat these Jack Links sticks. I know I eat more than 10 in a month, and they're like $2 or $3 a pop. After taxes, I'm spending $40, you know, on beef sticks every month. I mean, why not set up a Nick
Dude,
Stick subscription and get some of the official beef sticks of
I'm, te-
RC?
I'm telling you, 100% grass fed beef, 10 grams of protein, 120 calories, 0 grams of sugar, beef raised without antibiotics or hormones added, no artificial colors, soy, MSG, nitrates, or nitrites. This is like certified gluten free. It looks like it's Whole30 approved.
Right?
This is good stuff, man.
Hey, you know who would really enjoy some Nick Sticks?
Who that
Our
is.
buddies in Slovenia, the Petrinchik
We need to
brothers.
send them a gift. We need to send them a gift.
Yep, they just got a box of a whole bunch of beef sticks, and
Oh,
and by the time you run out, by the time they run out of those beef sticks, that's about the time that a package from Nick Stick should be getting there. And then we'll let the good old boys from from Slovenia, you know, share
yeah, man.
share what they think.
I'm going to get into the influencer game, with snacks. Start spreading them out. Nah, man, it's pretty neat. And whenever they send me a promotion,
And then instead
I
of
share that with you
instead
guys.
of standing this way, make sure you stand sideways so you'd be like, listen, I never miss a meal. And when I'm gonna eat
Exactly. Exactly. But I mean, if you follow on social, um, a lot of times when they send me an email promotion, I share it.
right,
So there's always things you guys could sign up for I'm sure like a newsletter or something like that. You know what I mean? Subscribe to their emailer, and you can get those notifications as well. Because I'm not going to post them all, but I do a lot of times share what they tell me.
yeah, and I think
People every time I post, guys do it.
and
Why would I
at
not?
least from what I've seen, it looks like Captain Blas always has a beef stick like on hot standby in his pocket, like open and ready to go. Just whoosh, and just magic beef stick just appeared.
Yeah, so funny.
So we got to get them some Nick sticks.
Let's do it.
I have no idea how to get Nick sticks to them. So, you know, did the
We'll see if they'll ship out like that. Get them
even
a care
even
package.
if they won't, like I can like just
There you
order
go.
a bunch and put them in a box and mail them myself. We'll find a way to get the Pretrinsics some Nick sticks.
Let's do it. Paul Grice, good to see you, man. See you later. All right, man. It is 11:46. We got like last 2-3 minute questions. Let's go. What are you gonna fly next week? What are you looking forward to? What are you pining over? What's up? What are you guys jonesing for?
Don't send them through the Panama Canal. That's a good idea.
Is it the Suez or the Panama? Yeah, but don't do it. You know what? They're not lipo batteries. We can air freight them.
That's true. That's true. We can stick them on an airplane. Good to go.
I'll just drop them with my drone.
Yeah, the 20-minute flight time will no doubt get across the Atlantic.
No sweat. No sweat.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
David Wilson says EDF jets and EDF jets. Ken Sprouse, I mean, you can if you want to. It's not necessary because if they're coming, if you click through my website, they know already, that you're coming from me. I'm sure they have other influencers. I can't be the only one, but my wife actually received the email because she's the one that like bought them all.
I'll tell
And
you what. So did you see what Robert said? Pilot Robert. He says
what'd he
we
say?
could just come and bring them with us.
Oh, heck
So
yes!
listen, when this pandemic crap is over,
All right, boss.
I'm in. I'll update my passport and come to Slovenia. You guys
I
got
would love
you
to,
guys got
bro.
plenty of airplanes. I know I don't have to bring any airplanes with me.
Dude, that would be the best. I've thought about this before. Like I can't wait to. I'd love to do something like that. YouTube collab.
That-
Let's like a big one. Me and you figure out getting over there, Air
Dude, that'd
Marshal.
be awesome. That'd be awesome. But I can't go for like a couple of days, dude. If we're gonna go to Slovenia, that's got to be like a week trip, and
Serious.
like we can't leave. Like I'm gonna have there'd be so much sausage in our bellies, we wouldn't be able to walk.
Oh my goodness. I can't do Facebook half the time because I'm like always hungry during work.
I,
And if I see those guys posting, it's like, oh my goodness.
yeah, they have like these huge spreads every night. Like, oh man, look at all them sausages. Like I think I saw like a breakfast platter there once, and it was just full of all the great things that people would eat for breakfast.
Yeah.
Those guys know how to
What's
eat
the
for
matter,
sure.
Johnson? Johnson, what you mad about? Ken Sprouse dropping it down, throwing
So,
down.
William, I did not, I was into it, but I did not do a lot of flying out there because the places where we were allowed to fly RC in Hawaii, um, it was on the windward side of the island, not the leeward side of the island. So the windward side of the island had a lot of wind, obviously. The leeward side of the island, not so much. It was windy, like 30 mile an hour, steady winds, shears, even higher than that. It was bad. So, Hawaii is awesome, but not a great place to fly RC.
Isn't that something? It's not a great place because of the winds or because of restriction.
No, no restrictions really. I mean,
Okay.
if you don't care, like I like to fly at clubs, So
Yeah.
there's a couple of AMA clubs on the island I lived on, and both of them were just windy all the time. I mean, it was just insane how much wind there was. So, um, if they had opened up a club on the side of the island that I lived on, um, and there was tons of places where they could have done it, or if I just didn't care about flying at a club, if I was like, I'm going to go over here and fly my plane, um, things would have been different, you know.
Lyndon Stewart, see you later. Fred Barron, yeah, man, I cannot wait to get that Rafale up, and get a good video. You know, when I did the Gripen, it was the best I could do by myself. It's okay, but man, I'm really looking forward to having Bobby and I both like on the camera for working up that Rafale, along with the little DJI action. I'm like super looking forward to what that does for the videos. And then Johnson, yeah, the F4, that is too bad. I'm almost surprised by that. I wonder if it'll come back. Sometimes when people really, really don't like it that something gets discontinued, they'll figure out a way to find a container, you know. But talking about the Horizon F4.
Yeah, and you know, I know that a lot of people love that F4, but a lot of people don't. Like
Yeah.
I like F4s, but I don't love them. That was a plane that I was never going to buy, and I can't imagine that I'm the only person in that boat.
You know, here's the thing. Since there are options on that, if you wanted to get the one that's easiest to fly,
That was it.
that was it. It won on wing loading. It wins on the tech it's got inside to help you. And I managed to do 2 or 3 videos on that plane. And one, I think, super useful, flap to elevator mix, because the book that I had didn't call it out. And I knew from my free wing experience that it needed it.
Right.
So, man, I did ordnance, I did not ordnance, I did grass, I did goodness, flapped elevator mix. I did a lot on that one. I wish they would keep it around so people still watch those. So here's a question for our guy Jack Letts, and everybody can respond. Obviously, if you know, hey Ryan, community, how would you go about finding the CG on a jet with canards? Like a Saab 37 Viggen. I made my home build one today, and it just shot straight up and stalled. Managed to somewhat save it. Load the nose. Load it, load it, load it. I don't think the canards even have much to do with it. I would have my CG, especially if you had a hard time. I would have the CG right where the gear are, or a little bit forward, which is not very far back on a Delta.
Well, not far back from the wing root, which is typically where we measure
That's
the
that's what I
CG from.
mean. Don't even think about the canards. Just not very far back from the wing root is where you're going to find the front of the landing gear, usually.
And that's typically where you find the CG, especially on a tricycle landing gear plane. The CG is typically just forward of the main, the
Yeah.
main landing gear. Like the landing gear is put there because they're just behind the CG.
Yeah, man. Your canards ought to be like neutral or almost just a touch down, and then maybe a little reflex on your surfaces. But I mean, you got to go for neutral. I mean, really. And you're doing a scratch build, so I mean, you're really. I mean, that's neat going from scratch, but I would go for neutral and look at the Rafale manual. Look at the Gripen manual. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And see where their CG is. I'll show you right now on the Rafale. I got the book. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's done a um well, if they have, I haven't seen it. I don't know if there is a foam model of a Viggen. I know there's a flight test. There's flight test plans for a Viggen, but I don't know if anyone's actually done a foamy, like a proper foamy model.
Huh. So it's a little hard to distinguish because in this illustration are also drop tanks extending out from the leading edge of the wing. But if you, I mean, look where they put the CG on this thing. It's right where I told you. It's got to be right on the gear or right in front of where the gear are probably located on the bottom. And I have one behind me, so we'll check in a second. But, dude. And whoever was asking about the E-flite A10, I love it. Watch our videos. That thing is awesome sauce.
Hold on. I'm making you bigger.
Look at that. Way up there. And as far as a digit, this one is 110 to 130, it says. Way up there. Now I'm going to look at the jet itself. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, and even there, you're looking at maybe 20% of the wing, like 20% back from
Dude, I mean,
the wing root, or from the leading edge of the wing root.
I bet it's between 15 and 20% of the whole, distance to the goal line. Yeah, man. So the gear are a little further back on this one than I was saying, but let's see. I mean, it's like where my thumbs are, like 110, 130, like right behind the screws. And I'm just guessing, but and then the gear on this one, they're back here a little bit. So if you would be way too far aft if you did what I was saying with the gear on this one, it doesn't mean you know your gear could be. Who knows how they're set up on a Vigan? Of course, I didn't hear anything till just now, but I was trying to talk to y'all.
I wasn't saying nothing.
Okay.
I was just
All right,
letting you
guys.
give up the goods.
3-hour show. 3-hour show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Air Marshal, thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Very cool. So Kenny's doing a Zoom, it looks like. He was dropping his link earlier. Somebody ought to send me that link in Messenger or something. Because it can't get to the live chat until a while after the show is processed, so to say. So thank you, Dave, for doing that. Guys, thanks so much. I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Check out Air Marshal on YouTube and Instagram. To follow us and see what's going on in between our official releases on YouTube. I'd say you don't want to miss out on the stuff that Dave's posting on Instagram, myself included. And as always, if you're doing Facebook, there's a lot going on with the community on the RC Pilots Lounge Facebook group, which is really just a supplement to my channel. There's so many guys in that Pilots Lounge Facebook group now, like every now and then someone tells me I'm spamming when I drop a link to my video. I'm like, get out. This is my group, dude. This is my group, and it's the name of my show on YouTube. Like, I am gonna post links to my videos. So you can post links to your videos too, though. That's what's great, is the whole community shares what they're doing on that Facebook group. Guys like Dave will drop videos he's doing. A lot of guys will drop videos they're doing. And if I like you, I'll let it stay. If I don't, you're gone. It's okay. But there's not many of those guys. So, yeah, man, check it out. Check out Dave. If you like the crawler game, man, he's really laid it out on Instagram lately. But, of course, you can always count on Dave for some killer diller demystification of the technology we have grown to love. So with that, Yeah, man. You guys are lucky you're home. I still got to go there. How do canards help the aircraft? It's just like more elevator and roll authority. So you got this big delta wing, and what you're doing is you're not relying on, think of like fulcrum effect. So a little bit of movement up front on the nose at the end of a beam, so to say, takes a tremendous load off of the aft control surfaces. So a little does a lot with the nose, and I think it's just easier, probably more efficient, better on the aerodynamics. Of course, there are delta wings like the Mirage that don't have canards at all, but a lot of those planes do. And it's probably for good reason. They need it.
Hmm.
They need it to lessen the stresses on the aft end. Get more out of less is my guess. Appreciate that, Lyndon Stewart. So let's go. Final words, Dave Marshall. Go.
I am looking forward to seeing you all during the Pilot Ryan All Electric Fly-In at the Imperial RC Club in Mulberry, Florida, from May 12th to the 14th. Is that it?
12th through the 16th.
Man, the 12th through the 16th.
Link is in the description to check it out for yourself. A lot of your buddies are already signed up.
Yes.
Tons of sponsors, raffle prizes, all kinds of good times.
And we're gonna have an awesome time there with our crazy. I've gotten a glimpse of what other folks are doing. I'm not the only person building a crazy airplane with a 1200 Dynam Mustang with
You're a brave man.
with a V1200 motor in it. I mean, that thing is going to be absolutely insano. But I know that there are other folks that are also going to be doing insano stuff. If you're in the area, you got to come out. It's the same time frame that Jonah Hall was happening. We're going to have a blast
Yep.
down there. And like the week before that is Ceph. So if you live down in the southeast and you can make it down to Ceph like the weekend before the Pilot Ryan fly-in, Ceph is happening, and that's always an awesome time too. And folks from E-flite are going to be down there with a little airplane that they may have talked about recently.
Mike Milligan and the steam shovel,
Perhaps.
AKA Big Red.
It could be a big red plane that I believe they're going to be showcasing down there and letting people take the sticks and fly it around.
So Jack Letts, real quick, I'll answer this on the down low. Like, and don't quote me, but if you've got a Concorde that's 9 or 10 feet long, you really hardly, and it's foam and it's electric, or you're making it out of foam board or something. I don't think you have to worry about wing loading too much at all. You need to worry about power over drag.
Right.
You can almost load. I mean, that thing could feel so heavy on the ground and fly like a feather.
Right.
So, I think you'll be okay, man. But keep us posted, because the stuff you're working on sounds actually really cool. You should share it with everybody, man. Post up your. That's what's so great about the Facebook group, man. It doesn't do me a thing to have that Facebook group other than it's just cool. It's just a place to share, and not everybody's going so hard at YouTube. It's like official. There's some guys that just for posterity document their RC life. And I love that Facebook group, because no matter how deep you are into this, you can share and learn from all these other people. So, man, Jack, what you're doing sounds awesome. If you're not a little kid and your parents will let you on Facebook or whatever, man, don't do anything but RC on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it's worthless otherwise. But man, come check it out. Come hang out with us and share. Paul McNeil, man, stay safe. It sounds like a tornado is coming right at you, man. Take care. Be safe. I hope you're in the basement watching the show. Haha, Johnson, that's great. Guys, thanks so much, man. We'll see you in the videos. Dave and I want the same things. We want to continue to engage with you all week long in the comment section of our videos and on social. Dave's got a show Monday night. What time do you go on?
8 o'clock Eastern time.
That's right. Bobby K's going tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. This is probably his third or fourth show. He's usually always building something, and Bobby does a great job just coming out the gate with a pretty dialed-in live stream, thanks to hanging out with dudes like me a little bit and Air Marshal a lot. So thank you, Ken Kraus. So, guys, some of you will see you in the Zoom. Until then, let's roll, man. We're going to beat it in 5. Hanger Rats forever. 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. Stick a monkey pants, or in the immortal words of Bobby K, rolling on out. Let's do it. See you guys.
Good night, fellas.